Are we all good to go? Hi, everyone. Hello. Microphone good. Music good. Hello. How are you all doing? Hi, Escan. Hi, Skillet. How are you both doing today? I hope you're doing good. For some reason today I feel very tired, very sleepy. I got, I think, a good amount of sleep by maybe like, what was it? Maybe at least 6 hours. If not 6, it was 8, but at least a good amount. And hi, Niantilise. Welcome back in. I hope you've been well. I think yesterday you said you had to hop in and hop back out, so I hope it's been a while since. Yeah. I'm glad I remembered. Welcome in. Welcome back. I hope your time away has been well spent, and I'm happy to have you here today. Let me slide this guy up just a smidge. And hi, Zero. And sleepy, but you never woke up. Wake up. I mean, the thing is, it's like, my sleep schedule's wrecked, but I'm working to get it better, since the step 1 to getting a good, productivity cycle is to make sure your sleep's in order. So I try my best to wind down, make sure I'm reading a book or something, or the likes, when I'm trying to make sure I go to bed. The whole no screens, having a good cup of tea with lavender, things of that nature. And sometimes they help, sometimes they don't, but overall, recently, it's been getting a lot better. However, I've been getting sleepy as soon as stream ends. And it's a fight. It's a fight not to take a nap. But if I don't manage to take a nap, I've had an easier time going to bed. So I'm seeing a pattern here, and I don't like it, because it means I have to stay up and stay sleepy. And the bed, it calls my name. You know what? It's a work in progress. And right now it's working and it's progressing. So I couldn't be happier. Let me stir this cup here, and then let's see. I have water here as well. I think I'm all good to go and all good to be prepped. I'm really excited today. Today should be pretty fun. And hi, Necro. Welcome in. Welcome back. How have you been? I believe you were here yesterday, so welcome back from yesterday. Welcome on in. Let me get that water I was talking about. And the geometry dash guy. Interesting. Hello, and welcome in. I don't believe I've read that name before. I remember playing geometry dash all the time. I was never any good at it when I played it. I guess you could kind of consider that like a rhythm game. And how long have you been making games for? I've been making games, I'd say, for the last 2 years. The first game I made was in 24 hours. The second game is this game we're working on today, and I started working on that game last August. So it would have been about a year of developing that game. And it's still in the prototype stage, so that should hopefully give you an update on things of that nature. And got your coffee today? Oh yeah. I already had 1 cup of coffee, and I'm the second one here. I didn't have much time to make it really special, so I just went with instant coffee. As well, I like crafting the coffee and checking the temperature and making sure and saying, okay, I have to put it in for 30 seconds. I think it's called an AeroPress. I use that, make sure it's like in there for 30 seconds and then another 30 seconds and then stir it, do all of that sometimes. And then other days, I just want a little bit of instant coffee. As you know what, I enjoy it for the taste, but I also just do it for fun. I can't believe she beat my highest score in the 24-hour game. I'm surprised too. Truth be told, the only reason I couldn't go more was because the game froze. I don't think it expected for anyone to go that high. Then again, remember that game was made in 24 hours. It was also my first ever game, so I'm not surprised there was a bug. But it's never been talked about before, so maybe I'm the only one that's ever experienced it. There we are. And to the song of the Eye of the Tiger, rising up, back from deep sleep, had the alarm, but still snoring. Was that to the rhythm of it, Sarah? I tried. I don't remember Eye of the Tiger quite too much, and I wasn't sure what the S meant. The S deep sleep, or do you just mean deep sleep and you accidentally press the S key? Those are 2 options, or maybe there's a third. And so what are we working on today? You'll see as soon as the timer's up. At the start of the stream, we spend 5 minutes here chatting, and then I'll go into what today is going to be about. So don't you worry. If you've got questions, I've got answers. Let me get some water. Maybe by that time it'll be up. But if you have anything else you want to chat about, let me know. I'm here for it. Water. Yeah. Tasty. So let's see. Rising up, back from a deep sleep, had the alarm, but still snoring. Yeah, I don't remember the rhythm. Let's see. Da 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 da. Then does it go again, or does it do the da 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 da? Eye of the Tiger. Gonna have to listen to it again. And I had started using Godot 2 recently. Still quite confused with all the UI. That's completely understandable. I think one of its strengths is the UI, but also one of its weaknesses is the UI. It feels a lot different than anything I've seen with other game engines. I've only ever worked with Godot. And
Nio_Unix just
hold on. Let me get the name there. Nya Unix, is that how you say it? Welcome in, and thank you for the following on YouTube. Well, not YouTube. Following on Twitch. Welcome in. Speaking of, let me make sure I do this here. I really have to figure out a good checklist system. Every time I make one, I can never find it. It always falls. It's usually sticky note. Let me go ahead and move to here. And do you have any recommendations where to learn as a beginner? Where to learn? I do at some point want to compile like a list of channels I've watched for Godot that have been super handy. You've already started working with the Godot, so you're kind of already there. The program I've seen, or not the program, but the website I've seen, is more aligned for how to do, what am I thinking of? For people who don't know how to program in the first place, but certainly at some point I'll find some channels to share, as I think that's definitely a topic to cover of where to start with programming and where to start with learning Godot, as I think, yeah, something I want to do soon. And there's an opening part before the chorus. I wouldn't be able to recall. And hi Cat Sound Keyboard, welcome in, welcome back to stream. Hi, I hope everyone's having a great day, and if you're not, please reconsider. Always coming up in here with a sweet but terrifying threats. My day's going great. I'm super excited, and I hope your day's going well as well. And how do you get from doing 8x8 simple pixel art from doing 120 1280 realistic pixel? And hi Coffee Wolf, is that how you say it? Let me double check. Coffee Wolf, yes, welcome in, and thank you for the follow. Welcome in. That question itself, if you check the description, Geometry-Guy, and I think they made it really weird on YouTube. Let me do this. Let's see, pixel art GS. There we are. And hi, the House Gremlin. Welcome back in. Hello, welcome in. Let me paste this here. Hopefully this could possibly answer your questions. I've done a video before on how to get started with pixel art, so maybe that can help. I've done a video and also a website article. So maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed. And the playlist on your website, I've recently started to watch to see if I could learn a thing or two. I hope it helps. I truly do. I hope it does. Saying that, we have a few things on the board today. I want to talk, first off, we start off with a pitch to get everyone introduced to the game. And then from there, we'll talk about upcoming goals, upcoming things with the game, so my overall plans. Then we're going to talk about what we'll do today, which is planning and trying to implement a new feature into the game. And I'll talk about the specifics on that when we get there. And hi, Rodrigo. Welcome in. Welcome back to stream. And from there, once we figured out a plan, we'll try to do that plan. So that's where the programming comes into play. So even before we touch code, we try to make the program behind it. That's the hope and the idea. Saying all of that, you all stay right in your seat and we'll get into the pitch, all right? So stay right there, get on nice and cozy. Let me go into the screen right here. Be right back. Oh my, you seem to be in some sort of elevator room. Maybe a sort of business lobby. One might question, one might ask. You know, there's no windows, there's no doors, it's just you and the elevators. And currently at the moment, you're waiting for the elevators to arrive. And, you know, since you have some time on your hands, not forcibly by any means, you're here of your own volition, right? Well, since you're here and since I'm here, why don't we have a bit of a chat? Why don't we? So let me, make myself approachable. Hi, how are ya? Welcome in. And what part of game dev do you find most enjoyable? I find the concepts really fun. I also find the pixel art super enjoyable, but I also find programming. I've been enjoying all aspects, so it's a little bit hard to choose one I like the most. Welcome in, and hello ears. Hi, was it 8cent or was it @cent maybe? Hello, and welcome in. And help, I was kidnapped and locked. There's no kidnapping going on here. Well, sensible business conversations. Welcome into the elevator pitch, a section I like to do at the beginning of my programming streams, or any stream that is focused on talking about my game. The idea of just send P. Okay, good. I'm trying to remember. It's gonna take a second or two, but we'll get there eventually. The elevator pitch is a section I do in hopes of getting everyone up to speed. Maybe you haven't been here before, you don't know what my game is about. Maybe you haven't been here in quite a second and you want to get caught up to speed. It also gives me a chance to hopefully get better at explaining my game in as few words as possible. Well, not as few words as possible. Yeah, few words as possible and in a short amount of time. And I try to spend a minute pitching my game to you. And what is that game? I'm sure you're very eager to access. Again, you're not here, you're here of your own free will. Necrotype Cafe, a rhythm typing cafe game. And nice suit, thank you. You know, I made sure to dress for the occasion. So when this timer starts, I will start the pitch. And that timer is right up there. And did I miss anything before I begin? Well, the classic elevator. And out of these 3 elevators, which one is the safest one, I wonder? You know, you never know. They never seem to be of case. And Zero, you don't need help, you're fine. Saying all that, I will start the timer, all right? And 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Necrotype Cafe, a rhythm typing cafe game where you play as Gabrielle, a necromancer sent by her family of necromancers to this prestigious wizard academy. And the idea behind the game is that it's a rhythm typing cafe game. So the hope is that it's fast-paced because it's a rhythm game, and the rhythm behind it is that to serve customers, since it's also a cafe game, customers will order dishes and you'll have to serve it to them. You do this by spellcasting. You have to type to the beat, type to the rhythm. Hopefully it's going to be fast-paced songs, slow-paced songs, and depending on the dish they order, there's going to be a variety of things you can choose from. It'll be fast and slow, and the idea behind it is that you serve customers come in, they order, and then they're served. And the hope is that over the game you can show your family that yes, I can become something else in life aside from being a necromancer. The hope is to only have your hands on the keyboard. So you'll type to the rhythm, you'll serve customers, everything will be done on the keyboard. And it's words. Words. The beginning, right? No, it's not supposed to be super easy, but it's also not supposed to be super hard. It's supposed to be in the middle. I think if the records go, that might be my second worst one to date. I really might have to go back to my flashcards. I feel like that the flashcards really helped, and since moving, which is like I think now 2 months ago, I lost my flashcards. I'm gonna have to do my flashcards. And hi PD, welcome in, welcome back. It's been quite a second since I've seen that name. Welcome. Saying all that, I hope you all get the gist, and it's okay if you didn't. Let's play the game, why don't we? The current version of the game. So let me go ahead and hide this guy. Let me get out of my business suit, and that was a good attempt to me. A good one, yes, but it could be better. We're all about stonks here in business time. Let me go ahead and get off my business suit. Yeah, it's business time. However, it's also programming time. So I need the glasses, as you know, that's part of the programming action, right? And I need my programming assistant, little Bobby here. And I've been super busy with work. No worries, PD. Thanks for the on-screen celebration. I hope work hasn't been too stressful. That's always a terrible thing to have happen, as work can be fun. This is work to me right now, but I'm always having fun with it. So it's never a bad day. And great pitch. I'll take your entire stock. Good. Lovely to hear. I'm happy to hear you enjoy it. And speaking of, let me do exclamation NECROTYPE. Now, this week I released a patch for bugs. However, currently, and I've had some people test it, and if you run into this bug, we'll see. It's a to-be-determined bug, but for the most part, I've patched all the bugs, which is good. There's only, I think, 2 more bugs left. There's a big one, so if we run into it, I'll show you what it is, and I plan to fix the bug on my own time, but we're working on a new feature today, and she burns me with cigarettes if I don't eat my spaghetti. Where would I get the cigarettes from, Zero? Hold on now. But what you can do is you can go to that pin link I just sent out, and if we go ahead and click on Run Game, we should be able to try the prototype. And again, if we run into the bug, we'll try to play the game on the engine itself, as it comes and it goes, this bug that I can't seem to find, but that's A-okay. That's all what a game dev is finding bugs and patching them as soon as possible. So I'll move you over here. I'll go ahead and let's see. I should be able to hide you, show you, there we are, and if I make you full screen, it should be visible. Lovely. Alrighty. So what I can do is click on calibration here, and if I click start, let's go ahead and calibrate. Let's see. Click. Oh, click. 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 Alrighty, it's been calibrated, which means we can give the tutorial a try. So if I go ahead and click on tutorial here, we're in the game. And down here is a book, and if I flip the pages, it's C. This is where, this is where the customers can show their orders, and this is our atlas here. Let's go ahead and have the customer move, sit down, think about what they want to order, and you can see this is where our status of the customer show up. And these areas represent the spots here, but again, it's a thing of subject to change. This is certainly a prototype, and oh, can you hear it? Hold on, let me double check. Audio is nowhere to be found. That's okay, I'll do this. You should be able to hear it now. I'm glad I checked. Let me lower it down just a smidge. There we are. Okay, there we are. Good, good. With saying that, let's continue. And I got some string in my pocket. It's a string for the fun, Zero, or what do you mean? From here, we can follow this marker, and we can go to the spellcasting area. So this is more or less the cafe zone, and this is the spellcasting zone. This is the area we'll be working in today, as this will be the additions we'll be making, hopefully make it easier to do. If we go here, we can see that there's some symbols for the customer. They pink, there's purple, and then there's a symbol here. That's what this atlas is for. There's means sweet, bitter, there's also cake, cookie, hot cocoa. What this customer wants is a sweet, bitter cake. Sweet, bitter cake. So I can click here and go sweet. I can go bitter, and then I can go cake. And then we can click generate. There's also a tutorial here, but I'll show you what to do. Well, actually, let's go for it. Here you type. Here is where the progress of your spell is. And here is where it'll tell you if you've messed up or not. And well, hello there. Hi, Ignorant. Welcome in. I hope you've been well. Welcome in. So let me go ahead and click generate. Let's see how well I can do. WITH space T H R EAD space no S OF space T W ILIGH T space AND space GOATSKIN here in space UILOENT space. It's not done yet though. Almost done. Let's see. SOCKS comma. There we are. I did poorly, but I did it. We'll get there eventually. And wow, this looks a lot better. Thank you, PD. I'm glad you think so. There's been things in the work, things that have been happening, so I'm really happy to hear. It still needs work, of course, but we're moving in the right direction, which I'm really happy to see. So we can go ahead and serve the customer here. They'll go ahead and eat the cake, and it seems like I did not fix a bug that I thought I fixed. Did you see how the cake was behind the desk? It should sit in front of the desk. So something still needs to be fixed there. But then, again, A-okay. This is a lot of just trial and error. So I can go ahead and take their payment, and they'll walk on out. They're happy to be served, and the game is over. That is the beginning. I plan to add, as you can see, Ghost here, right? Ghost will be a feature, and let's talk about that now. Let me go ahead and enable the music. Let me go ahead and hide you, show you, press escape on you, and this is looking good. Thank you. I'm glad you think so. I'm really happy to hear it. It's gonna take some time. I know that now. I expected this game to be done in a few months, and I started last August. However, it's almost been a year. So I can slow down a little bit, and such a good timing. My game has a rhythm aspect to it too. Oh man, I tell you, that calibration feature I didn't know I needed to make in the moment, which means when it came down to it, I was super stuck until a game developer on here on Twitch, and oh, hold on, I don't know if I'll be able to do it. /SHOUTOUTKON, or can I do @KON? Oh no, I don't think I can do it. I'll have to find it, but a Twitch streamer on here I happened to raid. Coincidentally, he was also making a rhythm game, and he helped me figure out the calibration. I think if not for him, I would be very stuck, and I might not have been able to even finish the game. I'm telling you, it was super hard, but we're getting there. And I hope it doesn't take 2 years to make the game. Hopefully not. Next month we'll make a year, so maybe now that we're slowly getting to the end of the basic core features, we can go forward, and that's so cool. Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can find the name really quickly, as I'm telling you, if I hadn't met him, I don't know where I'd be. Let's see. Yep, I found the name. I should be able to copy, and then do /shout-out, and then I think I do space, and then I do this. Did that work? That did. Lovely. He's currently making a game that's probably going to take him, he said, about 5 years. It is a, what would you call it? Like Vampire Survivors? So imagine if Vampire Survivors mixed with rhythm game. That's the feel he's going for. And I should look up how to get that calibration thingy too. Yep. I would suggest messaging him. While I have it implemented now, I still don't quite understand it, but he's got it down pat. So if you have any questions, I suggest reaching out to him. And there's ghost in my soup later. The only people that can see ghosts are the necromancers. However, I hope the ghost adds special effects to the game, but that's a thing we'll cover when we do ghosts. And I love Vampire Survivors. Me too. That's why I initially rated him. It only turns out it was Vampire Survivors plus the rhythm aspect. And thank you. Well, thank you for asking. The more people that can get into making rhythm games, the better, I really think. As the issue with making a rhythm game in Godot is the fact that there's not a lot of information out there. Godot is also, what's the word I'm looking for? Infamously not very good for rhythm games, so I wasn't able to find a lot of information on it. So I'm really happy, and more the better, really. Let's see. So let me go ahead, and I'll bring you back to the planning screen here. Let me go ahead and make sure I can't hear the audio, as it's multiple audio going on in my ear. Makes it super confusing. Hold on, click that button there. Then we'll click that button there. Lovely. Okay, and I'll click you, and we'll bring you back into here. From there, we'll click you here, and we'll click you, screens, and I'll hide you here. Lovely. Alrighty. So, to briefly talk about the development of the game and where it's going, the projection, so to speak. And I tried the game recently. It was so good, but sadly it's very laggy because the demo was on the web. Yeah. Okay. And I'm thinking, right? There's a bug. We didn't run into it, but sometimes the characters at the end of the song, they all get jumbled together and then you can't complete the song. On the engine, when I do it, it doesn't happen. Kieran, hold on. Let me double check on that name. If I click here and then I click here, yeah, my guess is Kieran. Thank you for the follow and welcome to the stream. Welcome. I was worried, wasn't I? I was saying, and will there ever be a mobile version of a game? Probably not, just because it's a typing game. I haven't seen any typing games that have mobile friendly features, but you know what, there's never say never. However, the goal of Necrotype Cafe was always to be small. I've asked people have asked me if there will be a console version, so it's that thing of I'm not sure. I want to get my ideas done of the game, and then from there, once it's published, once it's out, maybe there can be future updates. As I think that could be a lot of fun, like a console version where maybe there's maybe not console version, but maybe a version where there's arrows instead of characters, and it's that instead, so it's not quite typing, but it's still typing-ish in the way you have to press buttons. So there's ideas, but I want to get the basics down. Saying that, we have a few things to cover. On Friday, the Pixel Art community stream that I did, if you're on Twitch, you can see it. The two names up there, Mr. Martin and Aaron Boy, those two gave me, as you can see, a total of 100 gifted subs on Twitch. And after I released the bug patch for the game, I had started a fund on Ko-Fi to help get the game up on Steam, as that is a future, that will be the end goal. But as you can see at the bottom, right, that release demo, that's when I wanted to put it on Steam, once the demo was out. So this was a goal started, but I had no intentions or no ideas of the goal being completed. But in one day, they were able to help with funding it for the Steam thing. So that's gotten squared away. Saying that, let's go over this list, shall we? And PS2 version 1. Hi, lazy random content. And you were correct. You said you keeping me on my feet, and you didn't do yes this time. I did recall. Let's see. So the 2.1 bugs, that's what I just solved. However, there's still a few going on. Today we'll be working on that bookshelf mechanic you can see there. Once we finish that, we'll see about re-implementing the ghost, talking about ideas in that sense, and then I'll also rework the tutorial. Once the tutorial's reworked, I'm sure there will be more bugs that pop out, and then that'll be 3.0 released. And Virtual Boy version 1, you're getting many ideas out there. I'm not very console known, but I hope you did at least like it, not anti-lose. It's a little funny at the moment, but it's getting there. Oh, what is the word I'm looking for? Slowly but surely. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. After the bugs are figured out for all of the additional features we'll be adding, then will be a visual overhaul, if you saw before, right? And let me just pull you into the game as well. If I go into, where are we at? Nope, programming. Yep, here we are. I go into programming here. You should be able to see there's a lot of areas that aren't textured, right? The character's textured, the wall's not textured, the desks are kind of textured in the sense of just this is top, this is side. This here is a little bit textured. Trash can is textured, but it's a thing of I just put this here so people would know. Beforehand, this trash can was a red box. So I in hopes of adding clarity, especially for people who don't know the game, I made it a trash can to hopefully make it seem easier to know what's going on. So I hope to do a whole visual rework of the game, and I also want to add more music and also just more audio rework. If we go back into where we at, the screen here, I think that covers everything. Yeah, visual rework, audio rework, and then the demo will be released. And when the demo comes out, that will be the demo will be put on itch, and that'll be the final update to itch. And then the demo will also come out on Steam. And then from there, we'll work on the full part of the game, and the rest of it will go on Steam. And I think floor needs to be textured and also a wall. You think? The hope of not doing too many textures is that I can go as fast as I can with development. I textured the character because for me, I like pixel art. I like looking at pretty things. So having the character walk around with the animations is fun, and it's super motivating to have them walk around. So that's why she's textured of all things. However, if you can see, right, this, her character here, right, this is her. Look at what she looks like in the game currently. If I go back into, where are we at? Oh, actually, I can go into here. Where are we at? Draw. Nice and save. Thank you. You can see, right, her hair is completely different. It's kind of got this floof. So that's another thing. Her character will need to be redesigned, at least her hairstyle. But there's the thing of just small little things like that, as her hitbox is really wonky because of all that hair. So right now, the new idea of the hairstyle is making it slimmer to make it easier of the hitboxes. We've run into a few issues with those. Saying that though, I think that covers everything on the roadmap of the to be determined. So let's talk about the one that we're working on today, adding bookshelf mechanic. Well, if I bring you back here and then we go to this mode here, we go into let's see, here and then back to here. Yep, all right. So we've covered pitch, we've covered upcoming goals and hitboxes. Yep. Hitboxes have been really funky, especially with the pathfinding that the customers try to do. It's been weird, but it's been fun. I can't really complain too much. Let's see. And do I want this song? I don't know. It feels very serious, doesn't it? Maybe this one? What's this one? That one's more relaxing. I like that one a lot more. So let's see. Planning, that's what we're working on now. So what do I mean by bookshelf, bookcases? If I bring you into the game, so we go into programming here. Right, we have this character here. And what I was saying back in the pitch, if you caught it, is if I click play here, I bring us into the game really quickly. I'll go ahead and mute Godot so you can't hear the audio. And GM, hi Lucille, was that it? Welcome back in. I'm guessing maybe the GM stands for good morning, so good morning. If it stands for something else, you can let me know, but welcome in, welcome back. Let me go ahead and let's see. Godot, where are you at? Move you here, move you there, and there you are. It's visible now. And I'll go ahead and let's see that music, so I can't hear it either. And I'll have to take your word for it. I haven't messed with navigation yet. I'm still trying to build my skills. Yeah, it's a doozy, but it's not too bad. If you notice, right, just to show you what I mean when it comes to navigation being a little bit wonky, I spawn a customer. Look what happens. Okay, oh, that wasn't happening before, all right? That's new. That's new. Well, you get what I mean. Hold on. If I go into the tutorial and then you do your thing. Okay, they weren't moving around wobbly, but they kind of look a little funny, don't they? Seems I'll have to do another look into their navigation. As they navigate to their seats, but it's an interesting walk. Interesting. All right. And yeah, that wasn't there, I tell you. And I'm pretty sure she's just too excited to order something. Maybe something's off here. Something's very off. It might be the bug fixes that spawn another bug fix, but you know what? This is okay. That is not what we're doing today. So ignore her. She'll leave when she's ready. And whoop, it's not a bug, it's a feature. I like the way you think. You can see here, right? Most of the buttons that I can navigate and control on the game, I can use the keyboard for. However, when we go to the screen to set out the order, I have to use the mouse. So the hope is that we'll be able to create a bookshelf, and from there, instead of using the mouse to select all of the ingredients that we need to do, you'll go to the bookshelf, grab the things, put it here, and then mix them all up. And that'll be how you spellcast instead of this screen. This screen was here, but to hopefully add a better feel so you're not also on your mouse. We want everything to be on the keyboard. And this is a spooky song. This is one of the songs I wanted to remove. So let me see if I can remove it. I don't want you here. Oh, hold on. How do I remove you? Remove. Yeah, I did. Okay, let's do this one instead. So that's the hope. And if I go into concepts here, we've talked about it before, but we can always go over it again as it's been ideas, but it hasn't been actually made. And hi, Mr. Gene, welcome in. And Eris, you're the best. Eris, you're the one. Hello, how's it going? I was ready for the hello, how's it going? hello, welcome in, and it's going great. Today's the day I get to work on my game, so I'm super excited. Sometimes I don't get to work within the week, so it's nice that I at least always have once a week to dedicate to some time spent on working on it. There's always a little bit of practice going on. As you can see, and this has been the board. There was another board. This board is version 2.0. The first board got corrupted, unfortunately. However, that's a thing of, I just know this time around, I need to make a backup of the board. So if we go up here, there should be, yeah, you can see a little sketch of the idea of there being a bookshelf. So there's a few ways we could do it, a few ways we could implement it, but I'm not quite too sure. And yeah, the UI stuff seems kind of complicated when it comes to just using the keyboard. What do you mean exactly? Complicated in using the keyboard mouse or currently with the keyboard? Could you elaborate a little bit? I know the tutorial needs to be fixed, or not fixed, but updated, since I have had a lot of people test, and the tutorial that it is right now is super confusing. So that's one thing that I will have to do. But for right now, we're trying to update this guy right here. And you can see, I also added a little tutorial for spellcasting as well. Spellcasting tutorial done. Cafe tutorial not quite done. So saying that, I'm gonna go ahead and copy all of these guys here. Copy. And then, sorry, you meant selecting stuff for keyboard only. Yeah. We're gonna see if we can do that today, as I have a few ideas, but I'm not quite too sure yet. It's all about just first brainstorming and then seeing where we can go from there. Let me go ahead and delete this guy here, zoom in. So, few ideas we can go with. And I'm thinking this might be the best to do. Right now, there's a button you can use to interact with things. So I'm thinking you first have to go up to the bookshelf. So there's like maybe an area here where you can stand for the bookshelves. So something like this, you stand in the area of the bookshelf. So now, most splendid day to you. Hi, Flatos. Welcome in. Welcome back to stream. I hope you're having a most wonderful day. My day's going great so far. I can truly say that. So I'm thinking, right, you interact with the bookshelf. So let me scroll out. And for me, at least, when I'm making a new feature, writing out the plan makes it easier. The tutorial feels like there's no tutorial. Yeah. Maybe we could add a pop-up guide. That's what I'm thinking, yeah. Pop-up guide, either a pop-up guide or like I did currently with the other tutorial where it's just pictures. But for me, I want a tutorial that doesn't feel like it's holding your hand. I want a tutorial that feels not like a tutorial, yeah, but I did it not in the right way. For example, having the words in the book. When I had people test it, and people who have never played the game before tested, they didn't even notice the text in here to read the instructions. So something like that, where moving the instructions or rewording the words, things have to be changed. And what's going on here? We're about to start developing a new feature for my game. The idea is that I want the game to be controllable all through the keyboard, and right now there's a UI that can only be controlled with the mouse. So the hope is that we'll add these bookshelves into the game that'll let you select what you could with the keyboard without having to use the mouse. So if I go into here, right, step one is that you have to interact with the bookshelf. So let's see, interact with bookshelf, INTERACT, interact with WITH, with bookshelf, BOOK, book. SHELF. First, you interact with the bookshelf, and hey, how about you use your voice to guide the player? You know, one of those games with voice actors to guide the player. I've been asked if it would be a fun idea to maybe, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe voice act Gabby, but I don't know if I could do it. She's got like I imagined her to have a very Fluttershy voice, and I don't know if I could do a good Fluttershy where it's super, super soft. And I think that'd be a pretty cool idea if you're not against it. I'm not. I've seen some tutorials as well where the player is thinking to themselves. The idea is that she also has that little spider here. That's her little familiar. Her familiar is the spider. So maybe the spider is instructing her. That could also be something to play into it. Maybe there's a little speech bubble that pops up reminding her or talking to her as she's talking to it. That could also be an idea as well. There's a lot of different ways you can go with tutorials, and that's super fun. It's always just a thing of how. There's a lot of ideas, but how to implement. Let's see. You first interact with the bookshelf, but then what happens? I'm thinking maybe, right? A menu pops up that you can select. So a UI pops up here, big old UI box, and it allows you to select various ideas. And depending on which one you choose, you'll be able to select it and confirm it, And then from there, you'll get the object in your hand. Maybe? So UI pops up, select item, possibly. Let's see. Any other ideas do you think? Now, because the idea is that it's spellcasting with poetry, so the magic is your words, not the ingredients, I'm thinking maybe she has to write out the spell into like a parchment, maybe like a parchment paper. And the spider being an instructor during the tutorial would be so cool. But I don't want to scope creep your game. No worries at all. It's always okay to talk about ideas. Whether we actually implement them, no clue. The idea is to just get it on the board, keep it for later. And also, Eris, I don't know if you saw, but I sent a little showcase of a shader I made on my most recent game. I'll have to check. Sometimes I'm too after stream I try to check, but sometimes I fall asleep afterwards. But I try my best to check in the morning, so I'll certainly see if I can check afterwards. But if not afterwards, I'll try my best to check in the morning tomorrow, as that's usually the mornings, Monday mornings are when I'm most active on the Discord. But I've been trying, since things have cooled down with moving and stuff, to try to get better at being more on there, as I'm telling ya, sleep is getting me. So let's see, interact with books. So I'm thinking, right, maybe instead of ingredients, right, because in this world, spellcasting is poetry, your words are the power. So I think it's a cool idea, and this is just lore, and again, scope creep, how far do we go with this? But imagine, right, you're born in a world where your voice is your power. So like, if you've ever seen The Little Mermaid, right, Ariel's voice is her power. Imagine being born in this world, but you're mute. You just don't have any magic, because you can't use your words. Magic doesn't exist for you. So I'm thinking maybe she has to write up the spell and then speak it aloud. Maybe that's the spell ingredient process. And it's always easy to find ideas, but to execute it properly hits you with reality. Yep, it's like, oh, this would be great. And then you realize if you got enough experience, I shouldn't do this thing. I don't have enough experience for it. If I try, I'll be stuck here for another 5 years. Okay, well, me work on game, you'll have fun, boy. Best of luck, Mr. Dean. Best of luck. And lurking noises. The sound of crickets. I'm thinking maybe instead, right, because what are these ingredients? We could always make them blobs for now, but I think thinking now about what they could be is also always a good idea. I'm thinking maybe they're some sort of vial of ink, something like this, little ink vials. I'll write this as well, ink vials, I-N-K, and is it V-I-A-L? I think V-I-A-L, ink vial. And hi, Anno the Dev. Welcome to the stream. I don't believe I've seen that name before. So hello, welcome in. And what's up, y'all? What's up? Hi. I hope you have a fun time here. So let's see, right? Ink vial, and the ink vials are different colors. So you pick up an ink vial, you have to place one, or maybe it auto places on the desk. So you just interact with the desk here, interact with it, and it automatically places one here, and then it places one here and here. And then to complete it, you have to get a piece of paper. And maybe the piece of paper is this parchment idea. We'll also do maybe like an area here. So we're gonna need some sort of UI menu. That is certain. Let me move this guy over here. We'll need a way to interact with the objects, which I do already have in place, right? I can already interact with things like customers. I can already interact with the trash can. So that shouldn't be too hard. We already have that system in place. But it's just going to be connecting these systems together. It's also gonna be a little bit tricky. So we'll see. I was just thinking, so ink vial for flavors, as I think that could be fun. Maybe, yeah, flavors, like different colors or for different ink flavors. Let me move that, ink vial flavors. Let me move you here. I'll move you up here. Up there, ink vial flavors. So F-L, make the F a little smaller. F-L-A-V-O-R-S. Ink vial flavors, and then parchment, dish parchments, I think. Let's see, or more still papers. They're parchment papers, but papers is a little bit easier to write out, isn't it? Let's see, papers, P-A-P-E-R-S. We have papers, and this will be our dish papers. So D-I-S-H, S-H. And I'm thinking, right, the papers should have the little symbols on them saying what they do, as I think that would also help with the atlas, right? Because right now, the way the atlas works is it tells you what things are. So if we don't have the atlas, right, if we go and let's see. Do I have an image or do I have to pull up the atlas? I think I do, which is okay. Let me grab an image of the atlas. And sorry, I'm back. I was on a bathroom break. No worries, Latos. Feel free to come and go as you please. But no, I'm not holding you hostage here. I appreciate you being here in the first place. By all means, again, come and go as you please. Let me go back to here. Let me go ahead and screenshot this. And what did I miss? Not much. Just brainstorming the ideas for the parchment. And well, not parchment, but the bookcase. The GUI, the menu that we could add. And let me go here and here. So what if we didn't do this here for the spell atlas, right? Do you think this feels a little bit too cluttery having something like this? I think instead of the atlas, just having these as the atlas. So for example, when you select the item, it tells you about the item and it also has the flavor underneath. And the item, the bottles, there's certain colors. An elevator, flash, 0 people are allowed. I mean, I don't control the weather, all right? So I'm thinking maybe we'll be able to get rid of this page because of this new system. That could also be a good idea. Because also another thing I noticed with the tutorial at least was people, they were confused about this. So maybe half and half of something like this can help. Possibly. The ink and the flavors and the dishes, we can always, well, not always, but do something like that where the dishes have the icon on the paper. Let's see, for cake, what does cake look like? Cake is a round circle. So the cake is like this. Yep, there you go. Little paper of cake. And the other ones will be just different vials. The hope is that you'll first place down the 2 vials, and then you'll lastly place down the dish paper. And we'll also need a way to clear the table. That'll be something to consider. Well, first, let's focus on getting it on the table. And here's, impersonating me, all that I see, absolute sales pitch. I've done nothing wrong and you can't point to any evidence. None whatsoever, 0. So let's see. Yeah, I think this will work. So after you interact with a bookshelf, right? Menu pops up with items. So let's go ahead and do that. Menu pops up with items. Menu, N-U, oh well, M-E, N-U, menu pops.
And yo, the dev subscribed on YouTube.
Thank you for that subscription. I don't know why it didn't do the thing. Weird. Super weird. Okay, I will have to look into that, but let me get the name correctly, or try to at least. That was Anno the dev. Thank you. I did read that name earlier, so welcome in again. Let me go ahead and click this guy here, and we're good to go. Okay, good. So seeing all that, right? The menu pops up. Menu pops up. P-O-P-S. Menu pops up. Pops up. Now there's different ways you can do menus. GUI certainly is a task to do. I've done a bit of it before. It's something I'm still learning. But I'm thinking there's this one that's like a grid. Might have to look into that and the implementation of that. But for right now, right, we're only thinking of big strokes. Right now, we're trying to figure out the steps needed to do the things, and then we'll figure out the little details later. We're only thinking of the big. And I'm gonna be a recruiting member. Actually. Welcome in. And have you ever considered using Milano as your organizer tool? Definitely not an advertisement. No worries, Slatos. Right now, for me at least, I wanted to do my best to do everything free. This program I'm using is called Concepts. It's not free, but you only have to purchase it once. I believe for Milano, you have to do a subscription, or you can purchase it once a year. The program I'm using to keep all of my things organized at the moment, if I go back into, let's see, this one here, is Obsidian. I use Obsidian. It usually, if you might look into Obsidian, might not look like, well, the fun part about Obsidian is that it's super customizable, so you're probably not going to see one person's Obsidian look like someone else's Obsidian. Hi, Mots. Welcome into stream. Welcome in. I haven't gotten to everything in organizing and sorting. However, I do have the beginning of sorting, where going in, you can see entities, customer, player, all of these things. So this is my middle note is in fact free. Ooh, all right then. I'll give a look into it. Is there a free version, or is it all free? I guess that's my next question. With Obsidian, it's super customizable. That's what I like about it. Let's go back into Concepts here. Alrighty, so menu pops up, and we have menu pops up. You select item. Let's see. Select item. S-E-L-E-C-T. Select item, and hi, Sanapa. Welcome in. Welcome back. Let's see. Select item, and well, see? That's why I had the follow-up question. I never know. It's programs like those, I think, where it's free to a point. I'd rather have all the advantages, or rather all the freedom, without too much paying for it, so to speak. I guess that's the best way to say it. Let's see. Select item. Select item. And after you select the item, you pick it up. So you pick it up, pick up item, P-I-C-K. Pick up item, I-T-E-M, pick up item, E-M, there we are, pick up item, and then from there, and this song's a little bit too sinister too, I'm weeding these out. I'll eventually get a good customizable playlist of music, but for now, it's a little on the randomized size. side words. Okay, let's do that one. That one's a little bit nicer. So saying that, right, you pick up the item, and then you're able to place item on, place on desk, right? So place on desk, E-L-A-C-E, on, O-N-D-E-S-K, D-E-S-K. Place on desk. That's step 2, right? And hi, Latch. Welcome in. And here says, just looked at the pricing of Milanote. The free version limits you to 100 notes, images or links, and 10 files uploads. I don't know. Maybe that's enough for some people. Maybe. For me, I like taking, I like a lot of, I like a lot of notes. And while Obsidian certainly has a learning curve to it, I would rather learn something and have it free to use forever than worry about needing to, like, space, like with the Google storage and cloud systems, things like that. And that's right, yeah. But again, this is what I think personally, but if it works for other people, that's really good. I know some people use, what was it called? Not Milanotes. There was this one, Notion. A lot of game devs use Notion. And I've tried it before, but it just didn't work for me. But a lot of big developers do use it. And Latch says Noman's correct. Yep, I figured as much. Especially it sounds correct. Yeah, 100%. Let's see, place on desk. And after you place on desk, you kind of repeat, right? So you go back to here for a little bit. Let's see, I'll use this guy here. So we interact with the bookshelf, move, menu pops up, place on desk. You do this 3 times. So I'll go ahead and move a guy here. Hold on, move you here. And we do X3 as you're doing it 3 times. And then we can go ahead and start spell. That's the last step, which is start spell. S-T-A-R-T. S-T-A-R-T. Oh, hold on. R-T. S-P-E-L-L. Yeah. L-L. Now, how can we remove it from the desk? And I said that was earlier something we'd have to worry about, but I definitely think it's something to consider at the base point, right? And hi, Mots. Welcome in. I think I said hello to you earlier, but maybe not. And if so, welcome in again twice. Let's see. I understand taking a lot of notes since I have, I don't know what that word is. The fear of forgetting. Ironically enough, I am a very forgetful person. If I don't write it down, I probably will not remember. If I don't write it down or if I don't speak it aloud. That's why I say people's names a lot, to hopefully help me remember and remember that they've been here before or not. But for me at least, when I write it down, it helps solidify it in my memory. When I make little doodles on this board like this for the tongue-tied meter, it helps me a lot. But I also, again, I'm very visual, so I like all the colors and all the additional notes I can add. I do enjoy it, and phobias are cool. They're not cool at all. Sometimes, they can be very debilitating, which is super unfortunate. But then, that's just the thing, and that's okay. Let's see. We do that 3 times, right? And then we start the spell. Now, what if we want to delete an item? And yeah, not enough for me either. Don't want to run into a limit in the middle of my project. Yeah, 100%. Especially if you want to do multiple projects. Do you then delete older projects? You have to download the projects. I want to make sure, overall, what am I getting into? And I'm doing cool and awesome. I see. All right, then. Let's see. So for deleting or removing, so I'll put this down here. Removing. R-E-M-O-V-I-N-G. N-G. Removing from desk. F-R-O-M-D-E-S-K. How should we do that, do you think? Right now, the way it works is we have an area you can collect or select, and actually let me grab a screenshot of it to make it a little bit easier to see. And that's okie dokie. Let's see. Let me grab a dish. Hold on. D-I-S-H. Yep. Let me grab a dish really quickly to take a screenshot of it. If it'll let me move it into the scene. Cafe. I'd like to place down a dish if you wouldn't mind. Maybe if I do this here. And then move the dish. Oh, that's why. Okay, hold on. End you there. And I'll bring you into here just so you can see what I'm doing. And programming here. I'm just trying to take a screenshot of all the bounding boxes we have at the moment. So, we have the player that's here, right? The player goes behind the desk. They're spell casting away. Then we also have a dish here, and the dish currently spawns here. It used to spawn here, but I made it spawn here due to some weird interactions with levels and layers. So let me go ahead and do this guy here and grab it. Make it visible to what we're seeing. And I did treat that. Good. Okay. Back into concepts we go. Concepts. Removing from the desk. How can we remove it? And hi, Lusk, passing by to say hi. Well, hi to you. I hope you feel better. Truly, get well soon. It's no fun being sick. Not whatsoever. Not one bit. So I hope you, wishing you a fast recovery. Super speedy. Let's see. Right now, currently, if you can see, right? The dishes have an interactable box. Even the trash can itself has an interactable box. So now thinking that, right? Maybe, right, our objects are also going to have this interactable box. And when we interact with a table, should it just be you put it on this platform here and it goes here? Or yeah, you place it down here in the center and it automatically shifts to the left. Or do you think you should have to go to the area? So can you see how there's a bit of a circle here? Should you have to place it on the circle? I think intuitively, maybe we could put a circle down for people to put it on the circle, and that way you can pick it up and put it down. And then once all 3 circles are filled, that's when the spell starts. I think that might be a little bit easier. However, that said, can you see how big the box is for the player? So if they go to select the object, how can we tell which one? I think right now I do it as the closest object to the center. So if we're doing that, I think that's fine, especially since we can just pick it up and put it down. So maybe it'll be okay. We'll have 3 areas where the player can place the object down. I think that'll be fine. And where they can place it down, they can also pick the object up. I think that's the best way to do it. So they can pick it down, put it down, pick it back up, and if they pick it back up, they can put it in the trash can. So something like that, I think, would be a good idea. And as this Godot starts to panic and PTSD kicks in. I only know Godot. I've only ever programmed in Godot. My other programming knowledge is in Visual Studio, and now that gives me flashbacks, as it's not a game engine, so the only one I know of is, well, the only one I've done is Godot, but I hope to in the future try other ones, as I at least want to give them a try and see how they feel. What attracted me most to Godot right away was the look of Godot. I like a lot of colorful things, so seeing all the node systems and things of that nature was really fun to look at. And are we typing words on the screen, or letters to come on the screen? Also, that's a very unique game mechanic. Thank you, Mots. If you go to the description of YouTube, you should be able to find it. Let me, hold on. If I do, oh, I typed so fast, but I can't do this. Necrotype. There we are. Do that there. And then if I do that here, there is currently a prototype version up on itch if you'd like to give it a try. And I can quickly show you how the game works, since I am seeing a few new names here. So go ahead and click play and go back to here and then show you. It is a rhythm typing cafe game. Let me go ahead and mute my music here. Unmute Godot so it is audible. Let's go ahead and calibrate, and then I can show you. Let's see. It. All right. So the idea is, right, we go here. We go to the cafe area, which is here. I'm already here. Didn't even realize it. But what we're fixing right now is that the fact we have a screen here where you have to use the mouse to choose the items. So the hope is we'll have some sort of idea or some starting it at the beginning of the stream. And how do you implement calibration? That is a good question, and no need for immediate response. I think I can, nope, it won't let me do that as well. There happened to be a Twitch streamer I rated that was also a Godot developer. Godot developer, and they're working on a rhythm game, and he helped me out. If you want the name, I can give it to you in alphabet, as he can explain a lot better than me. He helped me with my calibration system. However, I still don't really understand it enough to explain it. That's the best answer I can give at the moment. And currently learning to use GameMaker. An engine which is Undertale and Deltarune. Yeah, I wish you best of luck, Slatus. So let's see, right? Memory, sweet here, and then cookie. So when I click start, the game will start. And you can see, right? So T-O space S-A-V-E space T-H-E-M space F-I-R-E F L-I-E-S comma space C-O-L-O E-C-T space S-A-C-R-E E space T E-X-T S comma space B. Oh, that was hard. Alright, it's almost done though. I-R-D-S-E-E-T. That's the game in a nutshell, at least as far as the rhythm typing is concerned. And hope is we'll be able to smooth out the areas. So let me go ahead and close that guy there. And let me go ahead and delete this dish guy as well and turn back on the music. Let me go ahead and click play. There we are. So you're typing out poems. That's why I'm thinking for the spell ingredients, it should be vials of. And hi, Art Guru. Welcome to stream. And that's very cool. Thank you. That's the reason why I'm thinking ink vials, as you have to write down the spell parchment for the spell since you're speaking it into existence because it's poetry. And well, great stuff. Thank you. And oh, Twitch ads are about to start, surprisingly, which is I'm surprised about. I can't believe it's already been an hour. So we'll let the ads run. I'll bring you back into concepts. We won't do anything as the ads are doing your ad thing, and we'll give it a second, take a break to stretch and everything. Let me go ahead and dismiss you there so I can see. Yep. And then I'll move you guys up here. Lovely. Okay, good to go. And I can see it here. Great. And a very cool idea for a game. Excited to see how it goes. Hi. How do you say that? Is it apical, maybe? Or is it apical, maybe? You can tell me how to pronounce it, but welcome to stream. I don't believe I've seen that name before. So welcome in. And that's actually a very good way to learn grammar and typing. Right now, the words are not real words. They've been taken from Dr. Seuss's books, where there was one poem where a lot of the words like bandersnatch. That's not a word. But it certainly would be a good way to get better at programming. And as someone who has used Unity, Unreal, and Godot, I like Godot the best. Lovely. That's really nice to hear. I definitely want to give them a try, but just from the general look and from what I've seen, Godot seems to be more fitted to me. But maybe, maybe I'm judging by looks. So I certainly want to try them, but I'm glad to hear at least someone's tried all of them and liked Godot the best. And yeah, I like Friday Night Funkin', but other games are just as cool. Oh yeah, I've definitely seen Friday Night Funkin', and I'm not very good at that. But I like rhythm games. So I wanted to do something with rhythm and typing, and I've been enjoying the process so far. So let me scroll this out. I'll get some coffee, I'll get some water, and maybe by then the ads will be done, and then we'll get back into things. I'm thinking that, right? Removing from desk, start spell. I think this is good enough to start figuring out and breaking things down into smaller features, right? And I'll ask you this question while we're waiting so we can talk about it. Of these things on the list, what do you think is the easiest to start off with? And I'll ask it a little bit better this way. Do you think we should make the bookshelf? Do you think we should make the menu? Or do you think we should make the menu? Or do you think we should make a way to remove the desk? So placing the desk down, placing it down, picking them up. So yeah, pick up item. Which one of these three do you think would be the best place to start? And I'll give you my answer. And it's not the right answer. It's just my opinion of it. And I recommend Guitar Hero. I've seen Guitar Hero before, but I don't like the look of it quite much. One game I've been enjoy playing is, what is it called? Crypt of the Necrodancer, which funny enough has a necro in the title as well, but it's a rhythm RPG game. Well, not RPG, hold on, let me rephrase that. It is a rhythm roguelike dungeon. Dungeon, is that how you would call it? I believe, right? Kind of like Binding of Isaac, where you go on runs, you go onto the world to a random dungeon, defeat monsters, and come back in and get upgrades, things of that nature. That's the type of game that is. You have to do it all while keeping to the beat. Let me get this coffee and then we'll see. And probably menu pop-ups. Interesting. Why do you think that's Zero? And interact with the bookshelf and menu pop-ups. But which one of the two? And why? And cafe crawler? That's one way to describe it. Welcome in, the primal instinct. Welcome in. Let me get that coffee. Tasty. I wasn't sure how this was going to taste. I do tend to add a lot of milk to mine, and I wanted to try a little less milk today, and it still tastes fine, which I'm really happy to hear. I think menu pop-up. Oh, ads are also done, so welcome back from the ads. I was just asking the question, do you think interact with bookshelf, menu pop-ups, or creating a system to add things to the desk and remove them from the desk? Of these three options, which one do you think should be where we start? There's no right answer here, and I have an idea where I want to start, but I'm curious to see your answer and why for the people that had the ads. And I was reading off of YouTube, and let's see, let me scroll back up a little bit. Menu pop-ups wouldn't be a bad place to start. No, not the full thing, but maybe just the interaction. That's an interesting one. Yeah, I can see that. I have some pictures of my game on mood board. Yeah, I do have a mood board. And I actually know that one too. Yep. That was Crypt of the Necrodancer. And I think removing the desk will be the easiest. Interesting. And hi, Mr. Big. Welcome in. So you think removing and adding to the desk. Interesting. And seems like the easiest thing to start with. Let me scroll back up to what you said. Zero. Menu pop-ups. Yeah. I think out of all of these, usually what I like to do is start with the hardest one, which is, what would you call it? Eating the frog, I think is the saying, in the sense of, I think the hardest one to do would be the menu pop-up. And I think that, for me, starting with the hardest is a lot easier. And the menu pop-up itself, we really don't need the bookshelf, right? We just need the menu to pop up and we need to select items. And maybe if you carry multiple items one by one, interactive, everything on here is interactive. You'll have to interact with the bookshelf, right? You'll have to walk up to the bookshelf. When you walk up to the bookshelf, you'll have to then select on a screen. That's the menu that we were talking about. Once it's selected, you then pick it up. You have to bring it to the desk and place it down. And there's 3 places you can place things down at. So you place down the items, then the items combine and the spell starts. That's the idea of the new system. And quick dev question, how do you come up with cool core game mechanics? Play a lot of games. That's the best thing I can give, best advice I can give. Yesterday I played Deltarune, so for me, the best way to make games is to play games. I play a lot of games to get a lot of ideas, as I think that's always the thing of making sure you're always getting inspired. So surrounding yourself with things you want to do in life. And menu, if you, I did read that, good. And hello, I'm new here and I would like to know what plugins you use on Obsidian. Is it Jahouse? Welcome in. And sure, I can show you. I don't have a list yet. Someone's asked before, so I'll certainly have to at some point give a list. However, I can give you the look down at the very least. So let me go into Obsidian here. And not playing games, I'm doing research. Yeah. And if anyone asks you, stop playing games, I'm doing business, I'm doing work. As for the question about the plugin, since you're on YouTube, you'll be able to slow this down and also freeze frame it. So I'll just scroll down here. That way you can get a general look of what I have. I do have a few, and I do at some point want to compile a list. But for those that are curious on the plugins, here they are. Hold on, we're slowly scrolling down. When you start the spell, that starts the typing, right? Yep. Once they're all combined, you have to click, I'm thinking, or have to do like a combine button, and then the spell starts. That's all of them. That bottom layer is templater. There you go. And let's go back into concepts here. Let me go and exit out of view. So, saying all of that, I think we're ready to start. I think the menu would be the easiest but hardest to do. I think once we figure out the menu, right, with being able to select the items, things of that nature, then we can go to adding items and removing them from the desk. And I prefer back and forth between doing something easy and then hard. If you just start with the hardest, you risk burnout. That's true. That's very true, Zero. That's a technique some people say, where you start with something easy to warm yourself up to working and then do something hard. So you go back and forth. Yeah, I can see it 100%. Some people, they don't want to get into things, so they start off easy. But for me, it depends. It depends on the task. I don't think this will be too painful, but again, we'll see. So why don't we stop blabbering about it and get into it? I'll go ahead and I'll move you here, and then well, we should be fine. And but Eris is not some people. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there like me, and a sense of thought process when it comes to thinking of things. Let me go back into programming here. There certainly is only one Eris, though. There can always only be one. So to begin, I'll go ahead and save this guy here. And 2-minute rule? What's the 2-minute rule, would you say, Zero? Oh, if that thing can be done in 2 minutes, I think that's what the rule you're talking about. And
Treederelty subscribed on YouTube.
Let me double check that name. That was, and did the pop-up not work again? Something I'll have to fix. But thank you to Treader LT. Is that how you say it? Welcome in, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Saying that, we have a lot of inventory here, a lot of boxes. This is a plugin you can get in Godot that allows you to just have collapsible buttons. That plugin is, and I've tried my best not to use too many plugins, that plugin itself, though, is called Collapse Folders, if you're curious. And to look it up, all you'd have to do is go to the asset library, and then from there, you can click. If it's given a second to load, it doesn't usually take this long to load. Let's see, COLLAPSE, Collapse, and it should be here, yeah. Collapse Folders, that's the one I'm using. That's why this button is here, if you were curious. Let me go ahead and go back into 2D here, and it should make things a little bit easier to see, so we're not overwhelmed, as we don't need to mess with all the systems. We're making a new system. We'll have to interact with a few old things, but for the most part, I think it'll be a lot of new things. And we go here at Cafe. There is cafe options, and let me close this guy here. Collapse again. There's a few things. We have the cafe area and the kitchen area. Since we're working in the kitchen, which is this area, I'll go into the kitchen section. From the kitchen, there is the manager, the map, the rhythm, all the spell casting stuff. So actually, you know what? I think I consider kitchen more spell casting. Cafe is in the world, and I needed that for so long, right? When I started on this project, I didn't want to use any plugins, but after reaching, I think, a few months back, I then decided to do some plugins. Another one I use is called Sprite Wizard. That's a really good one if you use Sprite for pixel art and implementing it into your program. So if you're also doing Sprite, I suggest also getting Sprite Wizard. That one's also been very handy. I don't have many plugins on here, but I'm telling you, if there's one I don't think I could live without, it's Collapse All. It's a simple thing. I wish there was also one here. There is a plugin for it, but it's not very nice. There's no real button. I think it's a control you have to do, which isn't as nice as a button, so I uninstalled it. But that is there if you're looking for it. And 2-minute rule refers to the idea that if you have a hard time committing to something, it's easy to tell yourself just to start with 2 minutes. Oh yeah, I've heard of that one. Completely heard of that one. Yeah, 2-minute rule. Just start at something. If you don't want to do it after 2 minutes is up, you don't have to do it. Yep, 100% zero. So let's see. Cafe here. You can see, right, the entities, icons, managers, objects, set dressing, and targets. So, looking at all of these guys.
Flexi just followed.
Flexi, is that how you say it? Flexi? welcome to stream, and thank you for the follow. If I got it wrong, please tell me, and please correct me. And the notifications, guys, isn't doing your thing. So let me see if I do this. It happened last time. Okay, next time a notification happens, if it does, like for the ads or something, should be fixed. Saying that, let's see, entities, right? We're not working with entities. We're not working with icons. That's all the icons for our Godot guys up here. That's not what we're looking at. Managers, that's for the customers, dishes, ghosts. That's how I manage them. There's also the objects here. And, objects, I think, is where we'll be going. Right, our objects are dish interactable, which are our trash cans, different interactables, and dishes here. So yeah, objects is where we want to go. So I'll go ahead and put here our bookcase. And I'll do, yeah. Do we call it the bookcase, do you think? I think that would be good. And plugins is plugins in an engine. Yep. I don't know about other engines. Godot's the only one I know about, but Godot has plenty of plugins. It's just pretty fun. Like with my Obsidian, if you saw, I quite like the ability to modify things. I have quite a few, just a few plugins. So let's see. I'll name this bookshelf. There we are, and we'll go ahead and put you in there. And then from there, I will do the color of blank. And then I'll do another color here for assets, which we won't use at the moment, but I usually like to make my colors yellow for assets. So assets, and then assets there. And the only plugin I use is ridiculous coding. My brain needs it. Is that the one that shakes the screen on the, yeah, is that the one that shakes it so that there's fireworks and stuff? And have you ever considered making a game for consoles? The thing is, I'm not a console player. I have a Switch, but I only got the Switch. That was my first ever console. I got it back when it came out, so I don't have much experience with consoles to begin with. I've mainly been a computer person. However, I wouldn't rule it out, not one bit. Not one bit at all. So let's see. I'll go into here, have the assets folder. We'll color that yellow as I like. I like my assets yellow. And then from there, we'll go ahead and do create new scene. And we're going to call this, I think, it's the UI, right? So it's a user interface scene. It's going to be our object select. Yeah, interactable select screen. interactable-selectscreen. Interactable select screen. That's what I've decided to call these things. For example, the dishes are interactables and the trash cans are interactable. So these objects that we're creating are also interactables. And yeah, you said it right. Can't stick around long today, but good luck with the stream. Thank you. And thank you for even considering and following. I hope to see you again sometime. I hope you have a lovely time getting up to whatever you decide to do with your time. And yeah, I keep shaking to a minimum, but leveling up in the pretty colors makes me more productive. Oh yeah. The thing is, I feel like that would be a little bit too disruptive for stream, but I have it in another project I've been toying around with, and it's super fun. I enjoy it. And hi. Oh, is it Papudo Gamer? Welcome in. And hello, Saluz des Escador? Ecuador? Maybe. Welcome in. I'm not sure how close I got, but welcome. And by the way, I'm gonna chill for a second. Got that reading from Atomic Habits. Oh yeah, Atomic Habits. That's a book I certainly recommend. And okay, it's an amazing book. Yeah, Atomic Habits. Book I recommend. And I must inform you that Godot doesn't support console exports. Oh, that's a shame. Maybe by the time I get around to doing console stuff, they'll support it. There's always that idea, right? So our interactable select screen. I'll go ahead and, for me at least, panels and stuff, all of these guys have been a little bit confusing, but it's always that thing of just trial and error, seeing where it goes. I first start off with a panel container, so we have a background area. I'll make this panel container maybe about this big. We'll set it to about, I think, the center of the screen. However, this doesn't feel quite the center of the screen, so maybe I can make it a little bit like this instead. Maybe like this, maybe more like that, and then center. We can always change this, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm just thinking. And right now, I think I have a, let's see, UI, if I do UI, theme. How about that? UI theme, yeah. So I should be able to just drag and drop this guy here. Theme. That's not, okay. In that case, it's a panel I'm looking for. Let's see, panel maybe? If I look here, brown background panel. Yeah, that's the theme I currently have that makes it look nice, but not looking nice, which is interesting. Every time I think I'm getting better at understanding Godot, it decides, nah, don't wanna. But let's see, new style box empty, maybe? And then, no, hold on. Let me see if I load, and then we go into kitchen, spell UI, and then brown background panel, open. There we are. I like this guy here. I think it looks nice. And I did read that. Yep, and I don't really know why, but I would guess that's because of how Godot handles file savings. I wouldn't know. I've never really gone down that path. This is my second game. I haven't even figured out a save system yet. So when we get there, we'll get there. And there's a third-party company that helps you export your game to console. Oh, that's lovely to hear. And hi, Jan. Welcome as well. Crocodile alligator. And yes, I passed the tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I was told, believe it or not, that's the easier version of the tutorial. There was a harder version of the song, but I made it a little bit easier. So hopefully it was enjoyable at the very least. Saying that, right, we have a panel container now. What I'll do is also make a margin container, which should hopefully keep everything in the center. So you make the margin container a child of the panel container, and then go back to theme override, make sure these guys are like maybe 10 for each. So 10 here, 10 here, 10 here. So anything that goes in the center won't have to worry about coming out of the center. And Unreal does what Godot doesn't. The thing is, different engines master different things, right? So it just depends. And yeah, okay, I did read that. Yeah, just different things for different engines. I don't think there's a bad engine or a good engine. It's just whatever works for you. Let me go ahead and save this cafe as well. Back on our screen, I think there's this thing called a grid. Let's see, a grid, container, panel container. Was it patch? Is that the word I'm thinking of? Yeah, 9 patch rectangle. A controller, or control that displays, and you can't read it. Let me bring you into, let's see, 9 patch container. Let me see if I can drag it over so we can all read it together. And I'll bring you into this guy here. So, for some reason, Godot doesn't like showing up what the words are saying, but I'm thinking maybe this guy, I've heard about it before, but I've never really gone in depth to it, so we'll see. And good night, y'all. I enjoyed watching. Thank you for coming around, Anal the words. Thank you for coming around, Anal the Death. I hope you have a lovely night, and I hope you give some words. I hope you get some well-deserved rest. There we are. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for chatting. Let's see. I also notice a 9 slice panel. 9 patch rectangles produce a clean panel of any size based on a small texture. To do so, it splits the texture into a 3x3 grid. When you scale the node, it tiles the texture's edges horizontally or vertically till tiles the center of both axes and leaves the corner unchanged. Huh. Okay. I'm curious to see. I forget. It's been quite a while. And good on you for making it so we can play in browser. I just played it for the first time. Thank you. I know browser, some people have been having bugs with the browser, as there's sometimes the spell casting doesn't work, which is really weird, but it works on the engine. But the hope is that by making it playable in the browser, people wouldn't have to download it, go through all of that, as that's kind of the thing, right? You want to make sure the entry is as easy as possible when people get to play your games. And from what I know, Godot doesn't export to console because of licensing issues. Ah, got ya. Console's SDKs are not open source like Godot. Makes sense. And I keep shaking to, okay, I did read that. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense though. I will go through learning about licensing and things of that nature when I do put the game on Steam. But for right now, I have no idea how long that's going to take, things of that nature, so we're slow. And I have 2 feedbacks. I think it's okay that character sprites stay in the direction they're moving. And for typing, it was a bit hard to figure out what letter is which. Yeah, that is something I do plan to change, which is the font. I changed it before, but I'm still getting feedback that the font's still not a good font. So font certainly will be changed. And where do you come from, by the way? Don't go, you mean there? And Sega doesn't want Nintendo. Yeah, Sega does what Nintendo. I think that's what you mean. Yeah, I did read that. Good. So let's see. I wanted to check back in my game how I did the book. So if I go here and do, let's see, book, and open up my book, this guy here, this page with the customers, our customer tab, how do I do this guy? It is a grid container. Okay, maybe we do a grid container then. I'm curious to see grid container versus 9 patch. As maybe they're different, or we'll see. And she's from space. Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, I'm an eldritch space princess, so I'm from space. Let's see. So I'll go back into here, and what I want to Google is 9 patch rectangle versus grid. 9 patch rectangle versus, and then this was again, was it? It was grid container. So 9 patch rectangle versus grid container, CONTINER. But it was a fun experience. It was tactile, or tactile felt real. Oh, that's good. Yeah. I'm going, and right now I just want to make sure it's a proof of concept. But the fact you said it was fun is step one. Now we have to refine it, everything. But the good news is that it was fun. So I'm really happy to hear it, and thank you. And some face, yep. And look up W for consoles if you're interested in bringing it into console. Sure. Let me copy this here, and if I do get a chance, I will check it out. So thank you for the recommendation. So let me go back to here and here so I can see things properly. So 9-patch rectangle versus grid container. Yeah, okay. So for this person, let's see. I'll go back into the browser so you can see what I'm looking at. I'm completely lost in container sizing. Help point me in the right direction. So what this person has, if we zoom in a little bit, right? They have a 9-patch rectangle, then they have a margin container, then a grid container, and...
Rick Ocklon just followed.
Hi, is it Rick Ocklon maybe? Or is it Ocklon? Welcome in, and please tell me if I'm wrong, and thank you for the follow as well. And C's Pixlar Game Dev must follow. I'm glad I caught your interest in Deity. My game's going to be in pixel art, and I study pixel art, so the hope is that the better I get at pixel art, the better my game will look. So let's see. The control node, Rick is fine. Got you. Well, welcome in, Rick. Welcome in. So let's see. The control node does not manage its children, so we'll not wrap them around. Containers are made for that. In your case, you could use a panel container with an empty box as the root node. Set the 9-patch layout, and I am lost. Okay. You know, it's a thing, yes. However, I quite like the idea that I ran with, and finally some good F stream. What do you mean we have, like, fun? And hi, Toak, welcome in. Let me go back into programming here. I'm thinking we do a grid. I remember kind of, sort of how to do the grids, so I'm thinking the grids will be okay. We'll make a grid container. So we'll go back into our interactable screen. Instead of the 9-patch guy, as I think I get what it does, that'll be something I have to look into for research. However, that's another day. Right now, we're just trying to get out the feel. But how would your game work for console, though? You can't type letters. I'm thinking I would make, like, a different version of it. Or, yeah, a different setting where it's, like, maybe more so Friday Night Funkin', where you could do arrows instead, so the direction. However, it wouldn't be typing then, would it? But I still feel like the game itself could be fun under those circumstances. So I'll go ahead and do a grid container. So grid, grid container. And the idea behind the grid container, if I make this a child, is that you can do different columns. And when the grid fills up to that amount, the columns then change. So it's column of 1, so it's going to be a long line. So just for an example, let me get out. You know what? Let's make a object. So let's go into draw here. And is it Decorsair? Is that how you say it? Welcome into stream, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't seen your name before, so that's my best guess, but welcome in. Let's see. Yes, on console, you need a keyboard, so maybe it's better on PC. Oh, most certainly. It was PC first. However, I'm not opposed down the line to trying out ideas for the console, but I want to make sure I get my first idea across. That's step 1. And pixel art gaming, indeedy. So you can see here, I'm not sure, well, I certainly know we won't get into texturing the bookcase, but I wanted to just make sure sizing and everything. What I want to do is just make this guy here, like this color. And this will, for right now, be our container for our grid. I think this will, yeah. How about this? This is the selected object or non-selected object. We'll just do something very simple and cute art. Thank you. There's not much art to the game since it's still in prototype, but I'm glad you're enjoying it already. I'm really happy to hear it. So we'll go ahead and move this here, and we'll slide that back down here, and final boss is Blobby. He comes in, he's the critic. I'll go ahead and move this here. And I just want to make something really simple. The hope is that these guys will be changed. This is just temporary. This is just the idea. And let's see. In the console version, you lose because you don't have a keyboard. Peak gaming. It was made to lose already. Well, that'd be awful. That'd be terrible. And hi, Preston. Welcome in. Welcome. I don't believe I've seen your name before. And definitely got to port it to the Wii and add motion controls. Oh, man. What a world. And hi, Check. Welcome in. I'll be lurking because I'm trying to draw expressions for Tim and Bobby. Ooh, I'm really excited to see. And wish you a nice and smooth stream. Also, no need for sending over links to the resources if nobody else needs it. No worries, Check. And thank you for saying that as well. I hope you have a lovely time drawing. And how about the sprites comments? You made good art, so it's a big shame you can't stand still and see the character back and sideways. Thank you, Malphabet. I do plan to eventually change your hair. It's a little bit too wide for the hitbox. But yeah, right now I wanted to go with the bare minimum. So I had a left, right, and animations. And I do hope to have a lot of animations for the game. And
Auto_pilot73 just followed.
Thank you for the follow. Welcome into stream. So the hope is that eventually I'll have a lot of colorful animations. For example, right, in my game, there's different wizards. You have your pyromancers, and your pyromancers are going to want spicy food. There is a flavor system, so different wizards want different things. Pyromancers want spicy food, and then your cryomancers, so your ice wizards, are going to want minty food. So the hope is that if pyromancers get angry, walk out on the game, then they're going to have a special animation of maybe a smoke fuming out of their head, something like that. I do want to go in depth like that. However, right now it's super simple because I want it to be, not so serious at the moment. And I'm realizing I'm doing a little bit too much detail. We just need a select and a non-select. So this is all the boxes, right? These are all the boxes. And then we need a one for when you select it. So I'll go ahead and do just a little bit of a darker outline. So we'll make this guy maybe a little bit darker, maybe more so here. And then we'll make this also a little bit darker to show that you're selecting it. This is about here and here. So select, non-select. We'll just keep it very simple. And hello, you must have missed my first comment. Oh no, hold on. Let me see if I can go back up a little bit. No, hello first stream. I did indeed. My apologies. Hello first stream. Got recommended your newest video last night. I'm not a dev, but I do enjoy learning, and your personality makes things interesting. Thank you, truly. It's just such a shame. So the chat's a little bit more active today, but welcome in, and I do appreciate it. I really do. Or words can't really express it. Let me move this here, and hi Puff Manator, welcome in. And yeah, hello, must have missed my first comment. Just got recommended your news video and enjoyed so much I had to check you out. Well, I hope I live up to the expectations. From here, what I'll do, right, is I will export this guy, and we're just going to make it, I believe this is going to be 32 wide by 16 tall. So do file, new file, make sure it's 32 wide, 16 tall. Yep. Paste this in, and for now, we'll call this the grid system. I'll go ahead and do file export, and this is where something like the Aseprite wizard would come in, but because we're testing, I'm not going to do it too detailed. Right now, this is just the item background. We'll call it the BG. Yeah, item background. There we are. And what's that for 0? Most modern consoles do have keyboard support. I did read that. Yep. Final boss. And got you, guy. Okay, good. I think we're all good and caught up to go. All right, so item background. I'll go ahead and export this. We'll export it to... Where are we exporting it to? Hold on, let's see. Exporting it to download. Sure. Yeah, that works for me. And export. And hey, I don't take it personally. You're doing great, and I'm enjoying the stream. I'm glad to hear it. I really am. Let's see. Downloads, yep. And I'll go ahead and we'll go back into programming, right? Which is here. And then I'll go ahead and close it here. And then we'll go back into our bookshelves. And in our assets here, we'll go ahead and drag and drop this guy. So back in our assets, it's getting imported in. And now this will be the beginning of our item background. However, I'm thinking it's got to be its own thing. I'm thinking it has to be its own item that we have to add it to. So, how can we do this, do you think? Because this is a screen, right? But we have to be able to go through and select it. So if it's selected, like I'm thinking maybe a bowl or some sort. So we'll see. This is the interactable select screen. I'm thinking we need, and I'll go ahead and close this guy. We don't need to save anything here. New guy here, going to be also a user interface. This guy here is going to be called the item holder, item selector. Yeah, item, Words are always a little bit tricky to do when you're trying to label stuff, and just, exporting images to JPEG lowers the quality of the image. I've heard that before, yeah. I always use PNG. I don't think there's ever been a time I've used JPEG. So let's see. Item holder, item icon. Let's do that for now. We can always change it. I'll make this item icon, and then from there, what I'll do is I'll drag and drop the sprite. We can go in here, right? Item background, drag and drop it into here. I should be able to. How about that? There we are. Reset the transformation, so the position's all the way up here. And this sounds like a very serious song. I don't like it. It sounds too doomsday. So I'll go ahead and remove it from the playlist. There you are. And play there. That's also pretty doomsday-ish. We'll go back to that one. There we are. Lovely. I'll go ahead and move it into here. So there's two textures, right? What we can do is if I go into here, you can see animations, right? Each frame's V-frames, and the game's hard but fun. Good. The hope is not to make it too hard. If you've ever heard of Osu, I don't want that level of difficulty, but I also don't want it to be a sort of your grandmother's game where you can slowly type. I've heard people want to play the game who look down at their keyboard, so I want to keep that in mind for when I try to make difficulty levels. And this is really cool. I just started my game dev journey, so I'm excited to learn from you while watching.
Thank you.
And welcome in the Whitechapel, and sure, I shall have some water. But thank you again for the follow, Autopilot, and I do hope I'm able to help you in some way. I'm still very much a beginner myself, but that's what it is, right? You're watching people can help you in a sense. So let me get some water for hydration. I think I didn't eat that. Now seems easy compared to this. I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or not. Where we can see, right, our H frames and our V frames, I believe H means horizon, right? So if we change this to 2, it should make it 1. One guy here. And then there's frame 0 and there's frame 1. So this is how we'll be able to notice the difference, and you can see, oh no, this guy, the little pixel, but it's okay. We can worry about that later. And hi, Eris, how goes the dev? It goes great. I'm very excited to try this new feature today. I don't know if we'll be able to complete it, but we'll definitely be able to get started and slowly get there. That's the hope. And it's nice to know you both know each other. That's the word I'm looking for. So let's see. So the idea is that when it's selected, the frame goes to 1. When it's not selected, the frame goes to 0. That's all we're going to do for this guy. I'll go ahead and save this, and it's going to be our item icon. We'll make sure it's in cafe, and then we'll go to, let's see, where are we at? Objects, and then it is, let's see, bookshelf, yep, and then assets, nope, we'll keep it in this scene for now, I think. We have the item icon, and then we actually need the item over top of it, the image. So we'll also do, for now, whatever, it doesn't matter what the item icon is, it's going to hold an item icon. So we'll as well add 2 images. I think will make it easier to test. And I forgot what's going on today. I need my background noise to make some sense. Right now, let me go back to this to catch up everyone who maybe wasn't here earlier when we were talking about it. No worries, by the way, check. Let me scroll out here. Right now, at the moment, when you play the game, there is a little bit of there's some friction, right? Because it's a typing game, your hands are on the keyboard. You use the keyboard to move around, you use the keyboard to type. However, when you get to the screen where you have to select what flavors to choose, you have to take your hand off the keyboard and use the mouse. So the hope is that we're going to create this bookshelf system where you can interact with it only using the keyboard to select what you do. And hi, boss, thank you for the worry. Voila, great. welcome in. And welcome in. Hold on, let me see. I think I figured out how to do
Foss
it.
Unleashed
Shout out
3 viewers.
Foss. There we go. Did I do it? I did it. Hi. I hope your stream went well. And hi as well, Rudy. Welcome in. Let me scroll back out. I'll rephrase what I'm doing. For those of you that are just coming in, I'm currently creating a rhythm typing cafe game. And we're working on the cafe aspect of the game where you have to create the dishes, where you have to choose which dishes you want. And I call it Pun Barrage. How many tickles does it take to make Bobby laugh? 10 tickles. Terrible. But again, welcome in, Foss. I help you now that you've had your stream that you can relax and chillax. So, since it's a rhythm typing cafe game, they're making dishes. You can see here there's kind of cookies on the table. There's this menu here right now that you can only use your mouse to access, and the hope is that you'll be able to interact with the game only using your keyboard. There's friction in the sense of, because you have to take your hand off the mouse, it feels a little funny. So the hope is that we'll be able to translate this current menu, right, into a bookshelf system. So the idea is that when the player walks up to the bookshelf, a menu pops up, and that's what these icons are. You'll be able to select these guys instead of going through the words here. So the menu pops up, it says, which one do you want to select? You use the keyboard to go through the menu, select it, and it gets put in your hand, and then you put it on the table. Right now, we're only working on the menu. So we need to have a way to have the menu pop up and allow you to interact with things and select things. And I'm a Five Nights Funkin' Pro, so it's shouldn't be hard, right? You can certainly give it a try. If it's still too difficult, I can certainly ease it up. I'm always looking for feedback, so if you have feedback for the game, by all means, I'm all ears. Saying that, let me go back to here, and yeah, okay. So let's go back into programming. So that's what we're working on at the moment right now. We're working on the area for the items to go into that you can select. This is the overall big screen. So right now we're working on the mini version, the parts that are going to go on the screen that you're selecting. However, I'm just realizing there's going to need to be a little bit of update, right? We need to know what items we're choosing, and that evil laugh. I have no evil laugh. I have no idea what we're talking about. None whatsoever. Footsteps get louder. Let's see. I'll go for a rich text here, and what I'm thinking is we need to have a way to know what the item is, right? So what I'm thinking is we have a V-box. V-box, I really like these. These are my favorite. The V-boxes and the H-boxes, they allow you to organize things and to sort things. I use them everywhere. And they allow everything to be stacked. So if I put this in the V-box container, V-box goes here. V-box, can you possibly make it so your, we'll see. Anchor should be in the center. We'll see how that works out. It's always trying. Yeah. And sorry, I need to shut you for a second. I must hear the music. I hope you have a fun time. I hope it's not too difficult. So we have the item container, and then we also need the label. So I'm gonna go ahead and do label. And I don't know if we'll need a rich text label. I always do those by default. We also have a label here. And this label here is going to describe what the item is. So for now, what we'll do is do name in all big capital letters. And right now, the word's not showing up, right? This name word here. And we also don't have a background for the word itself. So let's go ahead and go back to here. Let's see our panel container. I'm just gonna copy our panel container. I'm going to paste it here. Delete these guys, or actually, never mind. Delete the grid container. And all I'm doing is I wanna make the word appear in front of the panel container. I wanna put the word inside the panel. Panel container is a little wonky right now, so we'll see if we can fix it. Styles, panel, theme, Vivo, Murad, all of these things. Right now, we want it to look stacked. What we're looking for, you can see, and let me draw it out. That should be a little bit easier to explain. A lot of the time when you're messing with UI, it's tricky to do, and I still struggle. But what we're looking to create, and hi, is it Rare Laurel? Welcome to stream, and hi, it's me from the Discord. Well, welcome in. Welcome from the other side. And let's see, I asked you to help me with my trees. Oh! I see. My apologies if the names are different or if I don't remember the name specifically, but I do remember the interaction. My memory, not very good. The more I do things, usually it gets a little bit better, but welcome in all the same. The look I'm going for is something like this, right? Where we have the box here, and then we have the name. So Name, something like this. And then on a bigger scale, when we use the container, I want it to look like, nope. This is what I get for using my mouse. Let's move it here and something like this. So you'll be able to select the items like this. That's the hope we're going for in making this UI. If that can help a little bit better. Right now, it doesn't look like that, so that's what we're trying to fix. But you'll be able to select all these three guys, and once you select, that'll be another task. Right now, we're just making the visuals for it. Let me go back into here and do all of those underlines and bring you back into, well, actually, you know what? Make it a little bit easier as well. Let me go ahead and crop this and save this image. And if your name was in ones and zeros, you'll remember it better, I think. I'm no computer program. I had to learn binary once back in college, and it was interesting. It was fun for doing the puzzles, but I don't know if I could commit myself to binary. Let's go back into here. And dice, now you got my attention. I don't think I said dice, did I? Let's see, save as. I'll go ahead and save it in downloads here and movie here. And that is what a computer would say. Beep, boop, 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 beep, beep. Error 404, not found. Memory. Let me move you into here. And anyone else notice when she laughs? When she goes, the second ear kind of sounds like I've just been called a squeak toy. Zero. Never have I ever. I've heard a lot of things about my laugh. Never squeak toy. Oh, and my laugh is the best. I appreciate that. Squeak toy. I can't believe you. Hidden chat? Oh, okay, we're good. For a second, I thought you meant the Twitch chat was hidden. We're good. And I didn't notice it now, but now I do. Insecurity unlocked. Never been insecure about my laugh. If anything, it was always my voice. Though other people would beg to differ, but for me, I always thought it was very nasally. But it's that thing of once you hear it so many times, you get used to it. And now I can't ignore the squeaky toy. No. You stay back. So let's see, right? Our VBox container. This does not look like that. That's what we're looking for. So let's see, panel container. Okay. So let's start with the bare basics. The rich text label, I believe, needs to have fit content on. Okay. And from there, let's see. Let's make this center. Let's make this center. And then we're going to need to do margin container. Margin container, all of you guys, transformation, container sizing, horizontal fill. What if we shrink center, shrink center? A lot of this for me comes down to just tweaking it. And thanks, Zero. Terrible, I tell you. And you're back. Welcome back in, Slatos. Let's see. We want the words to look like words. Right now, they're not looking like words. They're not doing their thing. I thought there was, well, fit content. We can kind of see it, right? But the sizing, width. And it took this long to be called a squeak toy. Also, the nerd voice is like 50% of your brand. what I've been told. Let's see. Panel container, maybe if we make it wider. For example, our minimum size, make the X 10. Nah, that didn't do it. Maybe our minimum size here could be 10, or a lot of messing around for these guys. Minimum size 10. Nah. Okay, if we take the label out, name. Alrighty, you label. You aren't even sideways, which is interesting to note. Let me move it here, modifying them and seeing, and this key is hard. I see. It's noted. I'll do my best to make it a little bit easier, especially since it's a tutorial. Let's see. Center. Yep. We need the words to go other way. We need it to go wide, and that's what I'm looking for here. There's a way. There's always a way, but I can never remember. Layout mode. It's not you, I believe. Custom minimum size. Maybe 100 here. Aha. Okay. All right. Possibly. We also need a text font. And I think I have some themes, so we'll just grab one of those. We can always move them back later. And if I just drag and drop you, there we go. Name of that for now. This is super big though, which surprises me. But that's okay. If I do this, yeah, this is a little bit better, but the words are super big. So is there a way we can make the size smaller? If I do you, theme override, is this one font? Hold on, 2, the 30, name, and then 5. Okay, interesting. 7, 8, 10, name, 12. Okay, we'll just let you do your thing. All right. We'll let you be you. And what, did I miss something else? Oh, it's nothing to be insecure about. I think it's adorable. You're very sweet, Zero. Like I said, I'm not insecure about it. I was certainly a long time ago. I've grown to accept it. As well, sometimes your perspective of yourself, well, not sometimes, a lot of the times, your perspective doesn't align with, or it doesn't reflect what other people say. So while I see a little bit of a nasally voice, I've been told cute and what's the other word? Just cute. Mainly cute. Mainly cute's the one I usually get. Which I do appreciate. And, oh, okay, I did read those words. We're all caught up, I think. And let you be soft. Maybe we'll finally get a new Rayman game. What do you mean by let you be soft? So rich text, I want to see. If we do cake here, right? Cake. Okay, that's not too bad. It's a little too... Okay, we'll have to do it off of here. One is like hot cocoa. Hot cocoa. And we want the width. So I'm thinking, right? We just make it really long just in case. So something like this I think works. Even though I know where the letters on my keyboard are without looking, it still managed to press in between the keys. I sometimes do that too. It's a work in progress, but I'm glad I hope you at least enjoyed it. So let's see. That goes there. And now if we drag this back into our margin container, what are we seeing? Right? Okay, it's working. Now if we set our margin container's minimum size to, let's see, this guy's 100. This guy is a child. So margin container should be the minimum size of this guy. Our minimum size for our rich label text is 100. Okay. Our margin container's minimum size should be also 100 then. And then our panel container's minimum size, is it 100? It's not. What if we make it 200? Okay, I think that works out better. Something like this, maybe 150 would work out better in our favor. And then from there, right? So now we have the bottom of the container. The new words go here. Let me go ahead and move this back up here, and we'll do name. That goes there, slowly. And now we have this guy here that needs to go into its place. So if let's see, right now they're all in the VBox container. These guys are in their own thing, but this guy isn't on the VBox container center, which is funny. Let's see, maybe if we move you here, all of these guys are aligned, but this guy. And this guy here, yeah, okay. So panel container, are you centered? If I go, let's see, item background, Yeah, visibility, ordering. I wish you could be bigger, but I feel like that would be the Mixels feel, right? Which is okay. There's nothing wrong with Mixels, and all Mixels is just mixing pixel art of different sizing together. So it looks a little funny for some people. Some people like it, some people don't like it. I don't really have an opinion on it. I've never done it before. I've always tried to keep things one-to-one. And future collab idea for when this game becomes popular, Typing of the Dead. It's only like 1 million internet years old. I'll have to see Typing of the Dead. I don't think I've heard of that one. And Mixels is a new term for me. I see, Muck. To explain it a little bit better, right? Imagine, if we go back into here, this is the character, right? Everything is evenly sized. But imagine, right? If I do this here, I move this guy here for a second. Mixels is best described as if we take this trash can, copy it, I make a new file here, so new, and then go here, file. And if I made the sprite 2 times bigger, so let's see, sprite size, yep, you there. And then we make you, let's see, with height, set you to 200%, a little bit bigger. Select you all here, and then move you here. It's best described as, if I slide you down, something like this. Where it looks a little off because these are these look like 1 pixels, don't they? And does it feel off? For me, I don't quite mind it. But yeah, Mixels make me sick, but I'm a perfectionist. Hopefully this can give you a bit of a better idea of what Mixels means, where 1 is 1 size of pixels, right? You can see the individual pixels, but these are actually 2 by 2 compared to this 1 character. So instead, you do something like this, where everything is scaled to the same size. That's Mixels in a nutshell. And all the pixel art is so adorable, I love it. Well, thank you. I am glad you like it. I spent some time on it, so I'm glad it paid off. And let's see, like the super shrooms from Mario Maker in the pixely modes, I wouldn't know. I'm not a Mario person. I've always wanted to try to get into Mario, but we'll see. But I'll guess yes. Some games have done it. I do know that. And the beautiful thing about art is you can do anything you want. Oh yeah, it's the thing of, should it come to it? Yeah, we're doing Mixels. But should it not? Then, nah, we don't really have to worry about it. But it's always just something to consider. Let's go back into programming here. And idea for a boss fight mechanic. It randomly replaces a letter with a number. 0, that sounds terrifying. And add MTX and pay to win mechanics. People have suggested that. Or maybe a way to make it easier can have a preview of the sentence so you know what letters are coming next. I have had that suggested before, where when you're spellcasting, right? If I go to the spellcasting screen very quickly, SPELL, spellcasting minigame screen. Oh, that's not it. Spellcasting screen, this guy. Yeah. Someone suggested already having the words up here, but have it faded. And then as you fill them in, they get color. That's been an idea. And you'd love Mario? I really have to try it. It's one of those things where, again, the only console I've had is the Switch. But when I got the Switch, the games are so expensive. I didn't want to really get deep into the Nintendo brand. So I decided I'll just do Steam. Where Steam and you have your Steam sales. But that was an idea. And I'm thinking it could be fun. However, depending on how we implement Ghost, this may or may not be a good idea. But we'll see. But thank you for the suggestion. Was it Decosair, I believe, right? Thank you. So let's see. And she seems like a folk who would suck at platformers, even Mario. I got into Shovel Knight recently, and I'm struggling. That's all I'll say. That's all. Let's see. So panel light container, we need you to go in the center. Is that possible? Light mode, ordering, texture. No, we don't need any of that. We just need you to go in the center. This here, we can move it around. But if it's stuck in here, we move it underneath the container. Yeah. You can still move around, which is interesting. Huh, okay. And increasing your scale, that would be like 20. And I found an old copy of Super Mario 2 in the NES while urbexing. Never heard of that before. Let's see, 20 and do 15. Okay, maybe 10, maybe 5, maybe 15. Okay, maybe 12. Maybe 10. Okay, 8. How about 8? How are we feeling about 8? It's not too bad. I want it to look something like this. This is the hope. And thankfully, skill level doesn't equate to how much one enjoys the game. Oh yeah, I've been enjoying it. It's super hard, but it's been very fun. And later on in the game, to make it more challenging, the letters can sit and stay instead of going straight to the box. That's an interesting one. Zig and Zag. That's an interesting one. I never heard of that one before. Oh, thank you for the idea. And do you know about emulators? I do indeed. You can play all the older game consoles on your computer and even hook up the original controllers. Oh, yeah, that's true. I just have to look into how to do it. I'm not, surprisingly, I'm not very tech savvy. I don't know how to do most, like, if you ask me to upgrade the computer, I'm not gonna know. And the modem and the RAM and all of those things. It's a little bit out of my zone, but I certainly do know about emulators. Yep. So, item big, you guy here. Now, I'm wondering why this isn't going in the panel. If I hide you and show you... Oh, alignment benign, center? Does that help? Anchor you here. Layout mode, I don't know what the layout mode means by 3. We just set it back to you. How about that? If I reset your position... Super weird. Usually it snaps inside of the V-Box. But here, you're able to move it out of the V-Box. And... welcome, Oliver. Thank you for the raid. Hello. I'm surprised you're right. hello, everyone.
51
Hold
views.
on, let me do this. Slash, shout out, and then at Wallaber. Is that how you do it? Hello, and thank you for the raid. I hope you had a lovely time. And hi, Mnemonic. welcome in as well. Alrighty, let me get you all caught up to speed. I'm currently working on a rhythm typing cafe game, and we have a legendary dev in chat. Really? It surprises me. Well, welcome all in, and hold on. Wallaber, I hope you had a lovely stream. Let me mute this guy here. Let me go ahead and hold on. Where are we at? We have Godot here. Yep. Godot here. Hold your horses. There we are. So I'm currently working on a rhythm typing cafe game. Let me go ahead and do the calibration. So hit, and hit. There we are. Calibration done. Let me bring you into the tutorial. I'm hoping the customers don't do the fail thing, but we'll see. So to play the game, what you have to do is you can see. So, a game dev, right? So, what we'll do instead is you can ignore that, close your eyes. We'll do it in the browser. So let's go into here. Make things a little bit easier on us. There's two different ways, so we're all good to go. So I should be able to open up the game, make a big screen again, hide you, show you, do things of that nature, and there we go. Alrighty, calibrate again, and then I can show you. So hit. Oh, everything's breaking. Hold on, let's try again. That is a new bug. So, hit. It's always good to find out the bugs. Hit. I question things. Alright, tutorial now. Let's see. I click the button, character spawns, right? It's a cafe game set in a wizard academy. You're in a band area. You're playing as a necromancer here. Customers come in, they order items. For this example, you have a customer here, and they want a 2-color you can see, right? So this is sweet, this is bitter, this is cake. There's an atlas here. That's what we're working on tweaking today. This customer wants a sweet bitter cake, so let's go ahead and make them a sweet bitter cake. We go all the way over here to the spellcasting area, and since it's a rhythm typing game, we have to create the food by rhythm typing to the beat. So, let's see, pink and then purple, so sweet, bitter, and then cake. So when I click start, the game will start, and this is where you type out the words, this is where the spell is completed, and this is where you know if you failed the game. So let's see, there's another bug currently going on, so let's see if we run into it. I don't know yet, but we'll see. I click generate here, and let's see how well I do. EEWARE space THE space JABBER WOCK comma space MY space SO N space T HE space JAW S space T HAT space BIT. I saw it, but I couldn't type it in time. Let's see. E comma space THE
Spus streams just followed.
CLAWS. Yeah, done. Thank you for the follow. Hold on. Let me pull up that name. Substreams. Thank you, and welcome in. So here is the cake. We serve it to the customer here. Yeah, there you go. Eat your food. They will eat it and they will leave. I plan to add other features, but this is the you can get the idea at the very least, right? And this is really cool, awesome work. Thank you, thank you. And this looks awesome. I love typing games. Lovely to hear it. As you can see with the bugs. There's a way to go, but that's the idea. And let me go back into, let's see, this guy here. No, let's see. Let me close you there, subtract you there, go back into here. And if you saw, right, when I was selecting items, and actually, it'd be easier to show you here with concepts, where you at? And music, where you at? There we are. And gives lowercase o, and that uses stretch. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find a new font, I think. I thought this font worked out, but maybe not. Maybe I'll have to work on making my own. And welcome in, Ray March. Welcome in. And I actually made a prototype a while ago for a rhythm typing game, but I like your implementation better. Thank you, truly. And oh, thank you. We'll smell Muck for that.
Muck Pie gifted Wallabor a sub. Muck Pie gifted a tier 1 sub to Wallabor.
Thank you. Saying
This
all
is
of
their
that.
first gift sub in the channel.
Oh wow, I see.
Wallabor just followed.
Lovely, and thank you again. So saying all that, right? Let me zoom out a little bit to show you. Today, we are working on that guy there, the guy where I selected everything. Right now, there's currently friction in the UI where everything's on the keyboard, right? You're typing, you're moving around. However, when you go to spellcast, you have to use the mouse. So the hope is that right now we're making a UI system. So there's bookcases you're gonna have to go to. It'll open up a menu, you select it with the keyboard, you pick up the items, you put them on the desk, and it does it for you. You spellcast then. And that's the hope. And I have to read and run. It's lunchtime over here. I have a great rest of your stream. Thank you for raiding. And I hope your lunch is very delicious. I hope you have a well-deserved rest after a raid. So thank you again. Truly. Let's see what words. I just wordless. Saying that, what we're working on right now is the menu. So this kind of idea here is this big idea here. We're trying to create this little guy, and that's what you came in at. And imagine an Eminem mod for this game. I don't want to do too difficult of a game. I don't want it to be OSU level hard, but I also don't want it to be granny level slow. However, a lot of people that want to play my game look down at their keyboard to type a lot, and I do want people who do that to play my game. So the hope is that I can craft a difficulty around that for the easier songs. And I'm beginning to feel like a rap god. Let me make sure. Well, 2 rates. Yep, and fair enough. Prefer, let's see, official games and disagree. What about Cat Mario? Okay, you're talking about Cat Mario and platformers. Got ya. Mega Man? I was never a sci-fi techie person. You missed a suggestion? Hold on. Let me double check. Let me double check. The faded text is a step in the right direction. I'm thinking about something else. To the left of the box where the full poem is, there could be a sliding bar displaying the upcoming letters. I was thinking about sending a visual concept on Discord if you're interested. Yes, please. If I'm thinking what you're thinking, right? And do you even breathe? Yes? Sometimes. Just happens when I get excited. It's just blah, blah, blah. I'd like it a lot though, Check. If you're suggesting what I'm thinking, it's something like Tetris, right? Where you can see the upcoming block before it gets placed down. She freeze sugar. If only. That sounds like it'd be tasty and delicious. Let's go back into here for our, let's see, item icon. This guy here.
Shadow Storm 213
thank you
just followed.
Hold on, let me scroll up. Shadow Storm. And the Johnny Fee as well. Thank you for the follows. And welcome to stream.
Johnny Feed _ just followed.
Let's see. And hey, I recently got into game dev. You seem cool, so here's a follow. Thank you. And I wish you all the best of luck with game dev. This is my second ever game. I started this game back last August, so it'll be about a year of game development. I only plan to work, I had plans to only work on this up until the end of December, so a few months. However, as you can see, game dev's still going, but that was the point of this, is I was supposed to learn tons of learning, and I'm learning a lot, so I can't complain. And keyboard just explodes. I feel like it would if you go very fast. My current problem is, for some reason, the VBox isn't working correctly. I'm used to it working where the item just instantly locks in the center. It's not doing that. If I hide this guy, this is in our VBox. Maybe if I just, maybe I just delete you. Yeah, and then make a new VBox. Does that fix my problems? Turning it on and off back again. VBox, let's see. And I have only been going for a week, so I'm still in the stage where I'm going to just be making tiny, simple games for a bit. that's good. It's good to start small. The first game I made, it was like a sort of clickerish game. If you've seen the Dino games, something like that. It was made in 24 hours. So every time I worked on it, I started a timer. So it wasn't made in a day. It was just made in the time frame of 24 hours. Exactly. I'm also thinking the currently full poem being visible when playing is kind of useless, and it could be replaced by a score bar. Interesting. Okay, yeah. There's always ideas, and the better to implement them, or yeah, suggestions. I'm always looking for suggestions, so if you have some, throw them at me. And I read something here. Have you ever gotten suggestions that would change the entire premise of the game? Like, could you add more guns and less typing to the game? People have suggested hot dogs and pizza before, but that doesn't fit the cafe feel. And it'd be super funny the letters had tiny legs and marched to the beat. I wanted the food to have tiny little legs, but scope creep. So let's see. You go in the center now, and then if I just do this here, you should go below it, right? No. Weird. Super weird. I'm used to the VBox container working some way, and it's not working the way I think it does. It's really wonky. Maybe it's the center of this guy that's off, or something else. Maybe the scale? Possibly? Maybe? Let's see. You go here, and you're set here, and if I move you, you should go below, I believe. Yeah, okay. Hold on. Maybe it could be the separation. We can maybe set this to 10. That does nothing. Hold on. Something's really off. 10, 20, 30, 40? Okay. Why I'm a little bit confused is that I've used VBox containers before. So if I go into, for example, my spell minigame over screen. Yeah, this guy here. I've used them before, and they've worked perfectly fine in making sure everything's aligned. But they're not aligning this time. Weird. Ads are about to start, so I'll let them do their thing. But I'll answer your question, Voss. Let's see. So cupcakes, donuts, cake slices, croissants, cookies, brownies, and pudding. Yep. The idea is that you're in a prestigious wizard academy. So anything you could think of that would be in like a cafe is what we're gonna have. I could even see maybe finger sandwiches, right? Some fun necromancy feel. And check the size of all nodes, including the parents. Think something is set to size 00. Oh, great idea. I will check. I will certainly check. Okay. Size is custom minimum size. Is that it? Is maybe. Hold on. Save. And then layout, size, transform size, reset your size, and then item background, size. Okay. And you're still in the background. Size here is, and let me move you back out. And you're in the container. Okay. Maybe it was an Nanimo bars? What are Nanimo bars? Are they like chocolate? Maybe, perhaps. Pudding though. Oh, I feel like pudding could be really fun. Right now we have cakes and cookies, but I do want to do a lot more sweets. I want to do something like, for example, right? Because we have 2 different flavors, the idea is that they'll create different foods. We have flavors like if there's a pyromancer in the game, as different wizards want different things, and pyromancers want the flavor of spicy. Cryomancers, which are your ice wizards, they want something minty. So if you combine a spicy and sweet cake, maybe you get a lava cake and it's got some fire effects spewing out of it. That's what I'm trying to go for. And also using a sprite 2D instead of a texture rectangle. I've never used a texture rectangle, I think. Hold on, let me see. Well, we still have time and we're waiting on the ads. What I can look back to is I've done a sort of item system before. Let's see, customer progress tab, This guy all uses the sprites. The guys that show up at the bottom of the screen in the menu, all of these guys are sprites. I've never used a texture 2D before. Never texture rectangle. I'm guessing the texture rectangle is when it's just an image, right? Or not image, but hold on, let me texture rectangle. When it's just a block of color. I've done that before. Or no, color rectangle. There's a different one. I'm used to color rectangle, but texture rectangle. Hold on, this is new information. Texture rectangle. Interesting. And no, I've never heard of that before. Interesting. Okay, let's see. Is that the issues I'm having? If I move you here, I wonder what's the difference between using texture rectangle and using the sprite 2D. I'll have to look into that, and I guess it works. It's the only way I know, but just because it's the only way I know doesn't mean it's the most optimal. And the hope is that this game's not super optimized. I want to make sure at the bare minimum it's working, and then I can optimize it later. Just to make sure, even if I have to duct tape it together, we'll be a-okay. And so is the character a Cullinancer? You know, I was thinking, this is her creating a new form of magic. And I think, yeah, it could be something like colorary things. And welcome back all from the ads. Let me get some coffee and we'll get back into things. But yeah, the idea is that in this world, all the magic, if you're one type of wizard, you can't be another type of wizard. And because you're in a rich academy, the payment instead is knowledge. So the wizards will give you their study books instead. And she takes those study books and she learns the different flavors to add to her food and cooking. And hi, Barney. Hey, chat. Is there a Barney here, Dark? But welcome in. Let me get some coffee. Super tasty. And a typomancer? Well, you gotta remember, typing's just the way, but the magic is poetry. Okay. So, where were we? The suggestion was scale or size, right? Let me go through all of these. Panel container aside, our item icon. Is it the acres present being full rectangle possibly being the case? I'll reset the anchor as well. And then linked recipes / pics for nanny mar bars. Oh, where we're at. I'll have to check it out if you mean if on the Discord. I can certainly check after stream, but thank you for linking them. I'm curious to see. And are there different types of magicians, different levels of status in the Wizard Society? Yeah, and welcome in, Thomas. This is just ideas. Everything's not set in stone, but you could consider your necromancers the same as lawyers, right? In a world where necromancy is shunned, being able to speak to the dead would be great. You'd be a lawyer, right? You'd be able to do murder cases. You'd be able to, I forget the people, but the people who manage, I don't remember, manage cemeteries, things like that. That'd be super expensive. And that would be, just a high tier. That's what they want her to become. But she says, I don't want to be a baker. I don't want to be a necromancer. I want to be an artist. That's the feel I'm going for this character. And thank you for sending that over, Foss. Where are we at? I see. Okay. Scroll down here, do that there, move that down there, and ooh, they look delicious. 3-layered coconut graham crust, thick custard, and silky chocolate. They would certainly be allowed. Yep, and gravekeepers. Not gravekeepers, the people who clean up the bodies, I think. I don't remember what they're called. Morticians. They'd make big bucks if they were necromancers. Let's see. Panel container. Custom minimum size. Grave robbers. Imagine trying to grave rob a necromancer. I feel like that would not be a good experience. Let's see. V-Box here. Change the sizing. All of these things. Reset them. And reset you. Yeah, okay. And you're in here. So if I try to move you now, you're still not locked in place. Something's weird with that. I'm certainly not used to that. Okay, you know what? I'll delete you. Start again. We'll give that a go. And so, people have disdain for necromancers generally, but need them in times of desperations. Nope. Usually in media, necromancers are frowned upon and they're feared. In this one, they're prestigious. They're well respected. They're like the lawyers, the big jobs, big expensive jobs. And would we have to get a druid if someone illegally cuts down a tree in our yard? I haven't thought that far into it. And necromancers have an unlimited workforce. Yeah, see? You could hire. There could be contractors, things like that. And have you kids you kids leave my valuable skeletons alone. But yeah, there's a lot of avenues that necromancers could go down, but they're very well respected, I think, in this world, since there's so many jobs you could do. So let's see. Panel container, you, V-Box, you, add text, which is, the image. Add the image in here. Let's see. Go back into customer entities, customer assets. Nope. Just collapse all of you. Cafe, managers, entities. Let's see. Customers, icons. Oh, no wonder. I can't find it. Close it. Cafe. We have, let's see, targets, or I believe it was objects, bookshelf, and then assets, and then item background. Move you into here. And then let's reset your transform and start from the beginning. Maybe starting over. And some of the tutorial I've seen has been using different notes for the same thing in games. How do you personally decide on which similar notes to use for what you want? I'm still learning. I've done it this before, which is why I'm super confused on why it's not working now. And I think by not following a tutorial, I do follow tutorials. I do take notes in tutorials. And then I think to myself, okay, but then sometimes the things I want, I have to go outside of the tutorial realm. So I have created systems that do work, like this here. This works. All of these guys, and what's the word I'm looking for? I'm certain there's a better way to do this. And I plan to come back and optimize it, but for right now, it is possible. And what engine do I use? I use Godot. It's Godot 4. And hi, Techie Wacky. Welcome in. So saying that, let me go ahead and close you here. Item background, will you now go in the VBox container? Can I move you? I can still move you. Could I always move you? I am questioning things, and I have a concert on Tuesday with my friend in an award ceremony at a Verborian School Parliament for the prestigious European Prize, and I still have to practice Imagine John Lennon, so gotta go. I see. Well, I hope you have a fun time practicing, Slatoos, and thanks for stopping by and chatting. Okay. Maybe they can't move. I'm just curious to see, right? Can I move you? Is that always possible? Did I just not know these things? Maybe. I would not be surprised, truth be told. Okay, alright then. In that case, I'm curious to see about that texture rectangle idea. Maybe that can help us. If I do this guy, delete this guy here, right? I'm guessing I slide that texture into here? Can I move you? I can't. Texture rectangle might be the answer here. So if I click this texture, can I change the frames? That was one thing I wanted to make sure I could do. Keep size, scale size. It seems to be, maybe I'm not seeing it, frames? Mouse. Okay. I'm guessing maybe there aren't any frames in texture rectangle, which is okay. I like doing frames because I like the Atlas feel. For example, I think if I can click cake here
Curdle Games just
Curdle
followed.
Games. What an interesting name, and thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. If I click here, right, you can see for the cakes, and let me go ahead and hide this guy here. All the different possible flavors of the cakes I have on an atlas. So whenever you want a certain flavor, it goes to one image. I'm not sure if that's possible for the texture rectangle. That's what I'm doing here right now with the frames. That was the idea behind using sprites. I've never run into texture rectangles, but for what I'm typing here, and hello gamer, hello, welcome in. And thank you again. Let's see. Layout here, and I rated Wallaber. Now I'm here. Did I say it right? Wallaber? Did I say the name right? And welcome in, by the way. Please correct me, yes. I'm telling you, readers deserve a lot of respect, and Foss, you're also rated, which is, again, a lot of respect. Let's see. Layout here, local, transforms, customer sizing. And yep, you said it right. Good. Thank you. Textures, rectangle. I'm questioning things, and I don't like the answer I'm getting. Okay. You can't be moved. Why can't this be moved? But why can we move a sprite in it? I don't remember that being possible, but now it seems like it's possible. Maybe there's been an update or something I'm not sure of, but that's okay. RV box container here. Yeah, the sprite goes in here, and this sprite can be moved around. Okay, maybe. Well, let's see. Why can sprite be moved outside of parent? I thought it was the thing where sprites had to, or anything that's a child of a control node, the parent controls the position. That's what I thought initially, because I would go to move something inside here, I think like the margin container, and it would say, hey, you can't move the children of a container. Maybe it was, well, hold on, let's see. You were in here, and then you were in a container. So maybe I did a panel in a panel, possibly. And hi, by the way, Zoe Jadis, maybe. You can tell me how close I got, and I can try again. It looks like you were using a sprite with a VBox, but it only works with controls. There's a way to make like the sprite a child of control. I think, yeah, I agree. I think why I was confused is because here you can see, right? I have a container, and it's a child of a container. So I can move the guys inside the container, but the container itself that has the image. So, to do what I'm thinking I want to do, I need to have a container, like a panel container or some sort of container. So I'll go ahead and get another panel container. And then here, we'll make the panel container empty. So if we go here to theme overrides, I think, and because sprites didn't respect controls,
just followed.
They really don't respect them. I'm learning though, right? And thank you, Tactical Pizza for the follow. Welcome in. So let's see, for panel here, we do style box empty, and then we go back to here, we set this guy's minimum size to be 16 by 16, because that's our sprite size. We can then go back to our sprite guy here, and then make it so that, let's see, our texture empty animation, we should have HFrames as 2, right? Right, what are you angry about now? Hold on, delete you. Yeah, okay. And then go back to item background. That should be not you, delete you, we don't need you. Move you into here. That is the texture. Offset, animation, HFrames 2, okay. N. Godot GUI is actually very nice to work with once you get to learn it. Yeah, GUIs are very confusing. They are. I've heard a lot of good things about Godot's GUI. I just haven't learned much of it. And missed my last? Sure, Zero. Let's see. I will avenge my brother's death. You have my sword, you have my bow, and my axe, and my brother by the Necromancer. I've heard that joke before. I have. Let me double check to make sure I haven't missed any. Okay, so fancy corporate white collar necromancers. Yep. And name this character creation. Name indeedy. Any more I missed? Let me just double check. Is there a name for the player character, or do you name them in the game? The name for this character here, the little gal you see here, her name is Gabriella. That is the necromancer lady. Let me go back into here. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah. Her name is Gabriella. We decided on it back on a older stream when we were getting ideas. So let's see here. Anything else I missed? Let me just double check. Different levels, typomancy. Yep. Tree druid's name. Yep. That joke there being gone. And good. And have you made other games, or is this your first one? I have made a game before. This is my second game. The first game I made in 24 hours, and it wasn't in a day. It was anytime I worked on the game, I started a timer. It was a really simple game. I was able to complete it, but it was an attempt, I can say for sure. Simple, but it works. And this is my second game. Started on it last August. I was supposed to, well, the goal is to finish it by the end of the year. However, that didn't happen. It's almost been a year developing, but I'm still learning a lot. And your solution was a container as a parent of the sprite 2D would be good, since the pair control then has a position over the canvas UI, and the sprite is good at the coordinates. Otherwise, the sprite can't interact. Yep. That's what I did before. I just didn't know it. And when you explain it next time, you can say you made a game in 24 man-hours. I don't know if that would be a better description, but I'll try that one. Welcome, by the way, Slatala Stealth Orc. That's my best guess. Welcome. Let's see. And that was an attempt. What was the attempt? Names. If you look in the description, Thomas, and I can do this as well, I believe, exclamation itch. I think that works. Yep. And I'll send it on YouTube as well. You can try the game. It was a clicker game, kind of a clicker game. Things would appear on the screen and you have to click them. And 24 work hours? Maybe, I don't know what you would describe it as. So we have our VBox here, and then our panel container, and the panel container has the item background as the child. And because it's like this, now we can't move the child, which is what I wanted, which is great. Saying that in business hours, and other games are so hard to program. Oh yeah, I learned that the hard way. But you know what I learned? That's the important part. So panel container here. Now that's good. And then from here, what we do is we take this other panel container, we make it the, oh, it's not supposed to be panel. It's supposed to be panel container. We can change that. Panel, I can right click it, change type to panel container. Yeah, there we are. Panel container. Okay, so now this guy needs to be centered. The layout, you need to have it as centered. Where's your centered? Expand, no. Shrink center? No. Shrink center. Interesting. Okay, item background. Do you have a position? Yeah. Okay. Working, kind of. we're further than we were. Let me make sure I save. If it will let me. Control S. Yep. Okay. So we have the panel here, and then the panel container. Okay. From there, if I try to move this guy around, won't let me. Good. And 24 non-consecutive hours. Yeah. I think that describes it the best. 24 non-consecutive. And I tried Sky Scramble. My score was 2. I hope it was at least fun. I've been told my games are very difficult. I never try to make them difficult, though. This time around, I want to make something that's approachable for all levels of typing. Or billable hours? Maybe billable hours. Hours that go on the book. So let's see. Panel here. VBox container. Item background. Makes sense. Can we possibly scale this to, I think it was 8, right? Okay. 8, 6. Maybe 6 here can work fine. And then for you here, your position's the same. You need to have the node as center. Expand it, maybe not expand it. If I do not that, then you're not in the center. Interesting. Okay. Transform. Where are we at here? Expand? No. I'm looking for it to center. Custom minimum size. Interesting. Okay. Well, this guy is like 16, was it? Panel. Hide the panel, show the panel. Yeah. I know for certain these guys here, and it's interesting that there's a space here. Maybe if we reset the size? You can't reset the size. Okay. Margin container. That's correct. Panel container. It was a little wonky. That's okay. Again, a lot of these things I'm sure I can just figure out. We want it working, and then we can kind of change the visual looks of it. But I do like it to at least look presentable. So let's see. Custom minimum size there. Item panel background. You can be moved. Position scale. You're at the center here. The panel is here. We need you to be centered. So my guess is, do we have to use a center container? I know those are a thing, and I've used them before. Does that work? No, it does not. Use top left? Interesting. Transform inherited. Use top center. Nope. That does not make it center. Interesting. Okay. I'm wondering if the center isn't working just because of the way it's structured with the sky. As in, I didn't need a center for here, right? We have our panel container, which then has the H box and then the sprites. Here I didn't have to do it. And panel as a child of a center container. Oh, okay. Hold on. Center. Okay. And center isn't the guy there and there. Ah! Thank you. That's really handy. Yep. Figured it out. It was the ordering. And you can use any control since you just use the position of the control. The Sprite 2D can't use a control, and therefore containers, boundaries, / other features, since they only control work for controls. You can use a center container, then control, right? And then Sprite 2D setup, I think, to achieve what you want. I see. I think when you do control, it says to not use it as a control. Apparently you can. Never mind. Okay. Then we won't do panel here. We'll just do control. Thank you for that. And responding to non-Twitch chat is a sign of schizophrenia from the view of Twitch chat. It's many people. I assure you, I'm completely sane. And the worst thing has happened to me now. I'm drawing expressions of Bobby, and now a certain line on the sprite starts to look like a smirk, a smile. Can't unsee it. I'm telling you, when it's a small sprite, it's super hard. Let me scroll back up and then check on here. I tried when the center won't center, a classic. It's working now. I'm really happy. And I sent it a div the other day. I was proud. Congratulations. And name on TV visible. Shaders need an overall to add sampling. I don't know shaders, so I wouldn't be able to tell you, but welcome in. So let's see. Center container, panel, item background. From here, we just have to make it bigger, right? And YouTube is a timeline so you can see with her eldritch powers. Easy fix. Let's make this 8. Or no, not 8. 7? Maybe 6? Yeah, 6 seems fine. And then from here, I think we need to do separation? Possibly? If we did 30? If we did 40? If we did 60? If we did 55? That looks right, I think. Right? It looks like the image, and the image is that guy up there. It's looking correct. And I'm back. So what did I miss? GUI structuring. welcome back, by the way. I think this works. We just need to have the icon for the image, and I did read that. Yep. And I did read that. And yeah, Eris probably has voices in her head and doesn't want to admit it. I am sane, all right. I am as sane as you could get. I'm talking sane so much there's a capital S. Let's see. I'll go ahead and I will just make a random image for our guy up here. I'll use there should be like a white or cream I can use. I'll just use your eye here. Your eye shall be used. Back here. And all I want to do is just make this for different icons. So we can have different suggestion ideas, as I want to make sure the UI is working. So we have a circle that we can possibly get, and also a square. There we are. And again, I'll use the 2 frames. So I'll go ahead and grab you, copy you, do a file, new, do you, paste you, do file, do export, and we shall export this as item icons. And go ahead and go into programming back again and attempt to get things centered. Oh yeah, it's working now, which is great. I say that though, we're probably gonna run into more hiccups, but again, we take things as they come. So let's see, sprite here, yep, and it's going to be called the item icon atlas. There we are. I have an atlas already, I think, for the item icons. If I go back into here, product atlas, or maybe I can just type atlas. Nope, never mind. We have, no, yeah, see? I have another atlas here where you have the items. So really, we would just use these guys. So technically, we don't even need these guys. We just do another guy here. Make sure he's the same size as another sprite 2D. And whatever this guy is the other guy. Yeah, many guys. And a rookie mistake. AAA games never have working UI. Welcome in, Meowity. Welcome back. Welcome to things are semi-working. I can't say that certainly. Let's see. For our order icon atlas, we put this guy here. And then we make sure that it is, let's see, transform, position. Nope, we're looking for animation. So it's 2 wide, so that is 2. And then this is 4, I think. So 2 and 4. 4, like that. And now you're behind. We need you in front, like that. And you're too big. This guy here, you're more of like a 5, maybe more of a 4, like that. And lower left corner of that box is different, by the way. Hold on. Oh yeah. This is bugging me. Or I will fix it. Don't you worry, I saw it. I did indeed. I drew a little bit too fast. That'll be fixed. Right now, I just want to see if we can get the visuals on screen. And then I'll go back and, oh yeah. Don't you worry one bit. Let's see. Now we have the sprite 2D, and this is going to be the item icon. Or actually, never mind. This would be, yeah, the item icon. So we have the item background, the item icon, and then down here we have our marking container, all this here. This is going to be our item name, label. You could also do label. And then here, well, that's also called item icon. What would you label this as? The big guy here. I don't know what I would say. And also this center is off. I feel like that's more the center. And then we go ahead and reset the position, maybe. Go back here, position, anchors, present, top left, pivot offset. I'm sure that works, maybe. If it's a problem, we will address it when it appears. But for now, the idea is that we have this guy, right? And then our interactable screen. The hope is we have this big menu here, and whenever or whatever items are available for you to select, we would then add these as the children. So the item and then select, oh, hold on, what do we call it? Item icon? Item icon? Item underscore icon? Underscore. This is why labeling systems exist. So then this guy would go here, and there would be, ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. They're not separated. It'd be like a column of 3. But why is there no spacing? Constants, V separation, H separation. Horizontals on the line, so this maybe would be like 10. Are you going to be 30? Maybe 64. 128. There, like that. 128, and then probably also another 128. Let's see, if we do container size 2, then you'd go down here. Maybe, what comes after 128? 128, and then it is 128, maybe 146, I think? Maybe. And could you also just click and drag them? What do you mean? Click and drag them around? This is a grid container, so I don't think so. 256, thank you. 256. Oh, no. Somewhere in between. 2046. Very handy. Thank you for that number. 126 or 128. And then there's one above. 128, I think it's like plus 64. Big maths. That's 18 and then 4 plus 2. So I think it's 162. Possibly. No, 182. 182. Maybe. Something like that. But it doesn't have to be accurate. Maybe what we can do is instead like 160. Something like that I think works out. And could you also drag them? Would you mind elaborating a little bit what you mean, Shadow Storm? Because it's a grid, there's a set process of it. I'm not sure how that would be accomplished since it's in a, right, it's a child. A control node can't be controlled if it's a child of a container. So this grid container can't be moved because it's a child of this other container. And this other container can't be moved because it's also a child. And this guy, also a child, but it can be moved because this guy is, this guy different. And let the engine do the calculation. Oh yeah, you can, right? Thank you for that one. I completely forgot about it. You can't do pluses. Hold on. So, 128 plus 64. Yeah, I was off by 10. 192. Thank you for that fact. And them kids out here out of control. The children need to be reined back in. So let's see. I'm thinking about there, right? And we can have maybe a column of 3. And then I also want to have it centered. And for the center, right, I believe the center has to be the parent, right? So the center container, this guy here would have to be the parent. And then this is the child. And now this would be the center. However, this doesn't feel like the center. Layout, columnizations. Now I'm thinking maybe it's a, well, it's always got to be something on our end. That's a little funny, doesn't it? It's always the thing. So maybe because of this guy here, maybe if we reset the pivot now, is there a way to reset the position? Maybe that's it. And this is one reason why I cannot do basic math anymore. And always double question my own answers. Sometimes I have a calculator open. I just didn't have it this time around, but I try my best to, you know, back in school when they were saying, you'll need this. You won't always have a calculator in your pocket. So whenever I'm thinking to myself, oh, I can do this quick math, and then I can't, I then remember, okay, you know what? Maybe I go back to the idea of sometimes doing the math and then just double checking with my mind. It helps in the sense of just, you know, making sure you're brushing up on your skills. And is it not possible to do a calculation on parent with height? Possibly, yeah. If you grab two numbers, put them together, and do the multiplication here, I am certain it's possible. Let's see. Size, yeah. And if I reset the size, I can't reset your size. It's something to do with here is the feeling I'm getting. The line looks a little wonky, but it means it's working. But something's off. Clip containers, layout direction, inherited. Theme override, styles, panel container. I believe you're supposed to be a control. So change type to control, right? And then from here, layout, container sizing. I don't believe you're needed in any of those. We can go ahead and save you. And you're just the control. We'll do control. There you go. We have this here, this here. I'm wondering why it's off-centered. Do we have to move the V-box over like this? And for this guy, right, the position would be minus 60, like that, because it's halfway, right, doing the math things. And then from there, I think that works out. We go back to the interactable screen. Now they're centered, I think. And if we were to do more of them, right, if we were to have 6 things you could select, this is how it would look. So we now need, and I think this is where the other V-box would come in. However, this is a panel container. It should fit everything in, I think. Possibly, we'll see. Transform, size, position. If I just get rid of all of you guys. Interesting. So for these guys, layout mode, anchored position. I don't think that's needed. Anchored position, center. What if we make a full rectangle? Big. We don't want big. We want medium-ish. Right wide, like that. And these are cool. And then center would be center. Okay, but we just need this bigger. I don't know if we'd ever get this many, but I want to always have the option. And, oh, I did read that. Good. And I did read that. Good. Okay, we're good. So, for our panel container, I want everything to fit in it. And right now, they're not fitting in it. I think if I just remove the margin container, nothing really happens. Interesting. So, is it a matter of making sure these fit in the margins? If I do 100 here, what happens? I'm learning. Like that, right? And then I think if I do another 3, it should expand because of the margins, right? So 1, 2, 3, yeah. All right, give me a second. Let me get more coffee. Taking a sip. Tasty. Okay, good. Great news. And I did do that. Good. I thought something sent. Oh, congrats. Thank you. I'm telling you, slowly, but we work. That's all that matters. And good night. I have to work tomorrow, so I can't stay long sad. No worries, really. I hope you get some well-deserved rest. It's always very important to make sure you get some sleep. Sleep is needed, required. Okay, so next upon here, right? Now we need to have these guys appear as their whatever they are going to be. And that shouldn't be too hard, quote unquote. I have a semi-system of that in place currently, where depending on the thing you do, so let me see if I can show you. Right now, I have a level system, right? And let me undo that guy. And if I go into here, levels, it's really easy for me to make a level. You can see here I have some level data. And the idea is that, for example, my tutorial level, all I have to do is add these guys to the level, add them to the level, and it'll automatically add it to the book. So for example, if I wanted to make my, I think it's this guy here, my test level, I can make it so my book only shows cookies, for example. So if I remove cake and cocoa, I save this, I load in my game, we should only see cookies in the book. And let's see if that's the idea. That was the system I made in place. And I'm thinking we can just copy that guy. It was a very long time ago, so we'll have to re-understand the system. But let's see. I go here, and we should only see cookies in our book. So I'll go levels, no one spawns, and in our book, only cookie. So the hope is that we'll be able to fill out this area, right? This the item interactable. It's only the items that appear in the level because those are the only ones you can select. And since I did manage to do that in this system, currently with the book, we'll just have to figure out how this works. Copy and paste. Easy peasy. Maybe. Perhaps. We'll see. I'll go ahead and close this guy here. Turn back on the music. Like this. Make sure I add the food back to my test level. And okay, I will return after working on my own project for a bit. Some divs need centering. Best of luck to you, Thomas. I hope you're able to figure out how to make it, how to get it working. Sometimes it takes quite a few attempts, but I'm sure eventually you'll get it. It's just a lot of trial and error. Let's see, cake, cookie, and cocoa. That were the ones that were on the screen. So back to our item icon. A few things we gotta do. This is the icon, this is a texture. Now, we'll have to have textures for the flavors, which shouldn't be too painful, I think. I have, I think it's my cookbook. I put it in cookbook. Do I still have the cookbook or is it that? It could be old code. No, we're good. I'm wondering where I'm keeping the images at. Yeah, types of textures. So whenever I want the texture atlas, I can just go here and it already knows the X and Y of the vectors. And sometimes it takes years. Oh yeah. But eventually it happens. Eventually. So this guy here, right? We're only trying to test it. So since we don't have an icon, or no, we do have an icon. Well, should be fine. And I can't wait to see the VR mode. Yes, a typing game. Well, I mean, VR. That could be fun in the sense of, well, that'd be the ultimate test, right? Not being able to look at your keyboard and typing games. So we'll be able to play the game fully on only keyboard. Yep, that's what we're trying to fix now currently. Right now in the game, and I can show you if it lets me. Let me go ahead and mute this guy here. Right now, you're able to do mostly everything in the game, right? I can move I don't have to have my hand on the keyboard here. I don't have to have my hand, well, I don't have to have my hand on the mouse. Everything here is controlled by keyboard. However, if I go to the cafe, this guy here has to be controlled by the mouse. So that's why we're making this new menu, so you can navigate it with the keyboard. That's what we're doing today, as right now, the only way to select the flavors and everything is through this. And because you have to take your hand off the keyboard to go to the mouse, it feels a little wonky. So the hope is that we'll have a select system, the area where you can select it using the arrow keys or whatever key you decide to choose. Let me go ahead and close this guy here. And where were we? All right, so our item icon. The item can be anything. It could be a flavor, or it could be, it can be a flavor, or it can be something else. And I forgot, thanks for sending over the Bobby art. No worries. And he's been quite troublesome because his eyes extend his head. And so when you move it, he looks like he has a nasty bump. I'm telling you that it was very difficult to figure out a really small way to draw, but I am happy with the results. So I'm happy even enjoying playing with them. If you wouldn't mind, I'd love to see what you come up with. And mouse only is bad because then you try to implement controller and it blows. I wouldn't know anything about implementing a controller, but I will take your word, Toak. And I can't wait to see the VR. Oh, what did you write? Good. Okay, good. All right, so our items icon. If we go now here to our GDScript, create a new script. Now this is where we will decide the look of the item. First off, we need to know what it is. Is it a dish or is it a flavor? So I'm going to put here type, and then that's not the type I'm looking for. It needs to be, oh no, I always forget. It needs to be not a dictionary, an enum called type. And then from there, I think you do equal like that, or was it something else? No, it was this. Yeah, okay, enum type, and it's either going to be a dish or it's going to be a flavor. A-B-O-R. Do I already have dish and flavor? Hold on. Hold your horses. Dish, flavor. F-L-A-V-O-R. Okay, yeah, this is fine. This is A-okay. And depending on the type, we'll use different things. And classic stuff, when doing keyboard or controller only games, people will be asking about mouse support where you can't win for losing, it seems. Then never, not once. And could it be an emotion, like anger making things spicy and anxiety making things bitter? Well, that was the thing. There are plans to have ghosts in the game. They were of the old system. They should still be in here, yeah. These little guys, oh, their sprite's gone. No, it's here. These little guys here, currently they're disabled, but they will make a return. The idea is that when ghosts appear, they change up the way the game feels. And oh, my stream lag, oh no. Let me double check. I didn't get an OBS fail image. So it might be a thing that just happens with a weird spike. So hopefully it's able to clear itself up. The idea behind ghosts is that they'll come in, they mess things up. Some customers are afraid of ghosts, so they can feel the chilly presence of the ghost. Another one is that our main character, Gabriella, she's afraid of ghosts. She's a great necromancer, but she can't handle ghosts. And these ghosts aren't even mean and angry. They're friendly. You'll banish the ghosts to get rewards for other things. Again, gotta remember that scope creep. So we're dealing with ghosts after we do this system. Ghosts are next up. But ghosts need to be fed memory, flavor, food. So the hope is like what you said, Preston. It'll be some sweet memory, bitter memory, other memories, depending on the ghost. So different ghosts will want different types of memories to be banished, is the idea. However, again, might be too big of an idea. We'll see later. Slow things and just go bit by bit. So back on our item icon, we're going to need, and it's easier for me at least to write things out, we need a way to control text. Control text or the name. We need a way to control the image. And we also need a way to control being selected. So let's start off with making them appear on screen, and then we can do all of the everything else. But for right now, we need to have the level chosen. So I'll go ahead and save this guy here. If I open up my book, which is the big guy everywhere, and Meowity, it's a lovely name and very interesting. Thank you, thank you. It's a lot of just ideas, and now do 10 push-ups. 10 push-ups for what? What do you mean? Down here you can see, right? This is the book you open and close. So this book has everything in it. And this is where I would want a collapse button for this area here, but I was only able to find a plugin for this guy. So on our, let's see, there should be an atlas guy here. Book pages. Left page, well actually, you know what, let's just close it. Left and right page, there we are. It should make things a little bit easier. On our left page, we have the flavor guide. And that flavor guide here, and then a flavor grid. And that's where we're getting controlled in military. Oh, I see. I always see this calamity. And maybe have a ghost Yelp reviewer. People have asked, where do the ghosts come from? Since they're in the school, I don't know. I haven't thought that far. So just ghosts of students past or something. Why is this classroom haunted? Tune in next time. You'll think of it eventually, but right now it just is. And that's okay sometimes. It just is in the game. It doesn't have to have a lot of serious lore to it. It just could be for fun. Let's see. Our flavor guide and our product guide, or grid. Yeah, flavor grid, product grid. Where are we using you at? Here and here. Alrighty. I'm just gonna, thanks. I'll come back later. Yep, just gonna do that and do you, bookshelf, and it seems like this is the code. For every flavor that we add in the level current flavors, we add a new panel, and then we add it as a child, and then we add it as the icon. And you figured my name in milliseconds and couldn't see military? I couldn't, I tell you. I thought calamity. Yours reminds me of Alphabet, and they could be the personification of dad dreams of the students. Ooh, that's a neat one. Yeah, as you remember, right, this school is very strict when it comes to learning. Well, not school, the whole society. And this place she's created, everyone can use each other's magic and learn. So maybe it is the ghost of crushed dreams. That'd be a funny one. And I just imagine all the world-building games builders make their never even come near the player. I just imagine all the world-building game builders make that never even come near the player. I think I get what you mean. Like, there's a reason for things, but players don't know it. No wonder Check is VIP. He participated in a GM back. Let's see. Item icon. So back to the item icon. We have a new icon panel. Go back here, icon panel. Maybe this is something we can use, truthfully. Icon panel, where are we at? That's you, this little guy here. That's kind of what we have for you. Yeah, our icon panel. Okay, interesting. And in our icon panel, we have icon container label, and we have create icon. So I'm just gonna I'll be back here. And definitely these things are gonna need to change as item icon, icon panel. I don't like those words. And add 3 months goes back to lurk. Back and forth. And I'll take that as a compliment. Adding 3 months of each suggestion. I like to brainstorm, but I don't like to, well, yeah, I don't think there's any harm in brainstorming as long as we know what we can accomplish. I think that's the important part. Our item icon, I'll go ahead and make you, let's see, access this unique name. So we'll drag it over here and our item icon. So you're there. We also need the item background, item background. So add as unique. We're gonna move you here. And then what I want to do is set a bool up for selected or non-selected. As if it's selected, then it's a different, it's a different icon, right? It's a different color. And I need to use more commas, sorry. No worries at all, Preston. No worries at all. So let's see. Right now, we're not worrying about selection. We're just trying to make sure they appear on screen depending on the level. So I won't worry about the selection. Right now, we're only making sure that the image and the name matches up. So we have type, dish, and flavor. Alrighty. So if it is of a certain type, it plays out differently. And in our interactable select screen, how do we have it? We have these guys where it is, let's see, new flavor icon. And then we have the image, I believe, that is sent in. Let's see, new icon panel.create icon. Yeah, we get an icon type. Interesting. And the icon type is update icon, icon.update. What is this icon? What is this? Let's see. Interactable. What is an icon? Me of old times. ICON. Yeah, have I already solved this problem? I see. Interesting. So we have the flavor, we have the food. Okay, so we have a flavor icon and an icon. I should have known. The thing is, I do eventually want to change the way the icons look. So do we want to continue this system or make a new system? I don't know. Right now, the flavor icon has the flavor background, and I wonder why the first flavor is this guy here. H-frames. Interesting. And I went back to Bobby's, actually. Oh, the Bobbies. Let me get some coffee. Super tasty. Okay. So saying that, I do already have an icon system in place. Technically, what I could do, and the thing is, because they're half and half, I don't think we can do this because it's first flavor, second flavor. We're not looking to split up the flavors. That's why I have the icons. Since that's not the case, that means I think we can do a new system. But again, it's a thing of just maybe we're gonna have to redo everything, as I have been slowly refactoring everything. And when the player moves, the rate at which they gain XP should probably be adjusted based on their proximity to the equator and their height above the ocean at the present cycle of the moon, or the player might be disorientated. The proximity audio, and you could go on and on. Let's see. Create icon, icon panel, var scene, load icon. All of these guys will also just yoink ya. Thanks icon panel. I'm sure you'll come to great use. And you're gonna definitely need to be redone. I feel like the whole book itself could be redone, truthfully. It took me forever to figure out how to do the tabs, these guys, to show up. But something's off about the book. I feel like the book was to have an in-game menu. But if we're putting menus not in-game, then does the book matter as much? I'm not quite too sure. Let's see. You guys here, you're A-okay, you're fine. Script here, our icon panel, our icon here. We don't need you, don't save you. Our book here, don't need you as well anymore, I don't think. We'll see. And we have our interactable select screen and our item icon. And here in our item icons, let's see, interactable screen, item icon, you. We have create icon as a function. We also have create icon as a function, so we don't need to. It should just be this. That's A-okay and good to go. Lovely. Okay. So we have the new icon and the icon type. Okay. So instead, what we do, and let's see, interactable here. So all we need to know is the name and the type. That's really all. If we go back into cookbook, I believe that this guy here, I can't see. It's the minigame, level data. What's this? I don't think that's it. That's the player. What's this here? Still can't see it. This is, the scorekeeper. Nope, you're not needed. What are you? Minigame? No. Spellcasting screen? No. Bookshelf? Oh, cookbook. Lovely. I think that was the first one. And hi, Disco. Welcome back into stream. Welcome to, yeah, UI. Pain and win adjustments are not fun gameplay. I mean, if you're going for like maybe an accurate pirate game where you have to sail the 7 seas, maybe. So back at our cookbook, right? I have things like flavor to string. Now, I eventually was told and taught how to make these guys different for their names. For right now, though, we can just keep these names, as there's a way to do it, so you just look at the dictionary name. So for right now, we'll just use these guys, and then we can update it later should the time come. I'll move you here. We don't need customer profile. We don't need dish. We don't need dish manager. That's not even needed. Flavor icon, don't need icon anymore. Item icon, don't need you. Don't, wait, is that, hold on. Item icon panel, yeah. These names are going to need to be changed. We'll save you there. Alrighty. So we get a function, and from here, we need to know what image and what text to use. That's all this is going to do. Create icon, or create icon. So what we can do is say, for our type, oh, also we need a var, don't we? So a var, so let's see, var, type, and then we can do type, and we'll set the type, we'll set it to none. I like to do none. We're testing. So type equals type dot none. There we are, something like that. And then from here, I also like to do export at export. That's usually nice. So add export var type. And then from here, we have new type. And then we set it as our type. New type is the type. And then depending on the type, I think that's all we really need. Oh, actually, never mind. We need the new type, and then we actually need the type itself. So let's go back to our guy here, I think, in our interactable screen. And I'm wondering, because these are basically the same thing, is there a way we can combine it? I'm not too sure. We'll see. We need to know the object that we're looking at, or rather, I think, let's see. We need to know, yeah, I think that makes sense. So I think why the icon type is here and it's not selected is because we're using this depending on what it is. So var scene load new icon, and this is not the icon interactable we need, so we can go ahead and remove that. And then from here, our flavor icon, remove that. We don't need to save you because I don't know what I modified. And so for our icon, what we have to first do, and let me also delete you as well, and our type equals new type equals new type. And then what we do is if type, or actually, I think more so match type would be a little bit better. And then in the case that it is, let's see, flavor, it is, type.flavor, right? So match type.flavor, and it's going to be something, and then pass, and then something else. And also making a bunch of UI stuff always takes longer than I think it will, and might change it in the future. Oh yeah, and part of the process to finishing games though, I can't read today, can I? Also making a bunch of UI stuff always takes longer than I think it will, and might change it in the future. Part of the process to finishing game though, so can't complain too much. Yeah, a good UI I feel like can make or break a game. A game that has a really frustrating UI, people might not want to play. I can't think of any game off the top of my head that has a really bad UI that I've enjoyed, but maybe it's just that thing of I stopped playing it so I don't remember. Let me go ahead and go on here. It's either going to be a flavor or a dish. If it is a flavor, then we're going to check the flavor atlas for our icon. And that's what this guy is. Oh no. Item icon, yep, icon. We don't need you. We also don't need you, container. Yeah, don't need you. We have the item background, the item icon, and the label. You do need the label. We have you here, and that's actually the item name. So go ahead and do access is unique, drag it over, and now we have the item name. There we are. So from here, all we have to do is just see what are we working with. So here we have Now, if it is flavor, and we know it's flavor, we can go ahead and get the cookbook. Cookbook, and then it would be type to string. Cookbook dot type to string. So for flavor, it would be something like, let's see, item name, item name dot text equals, and then it's going to be type to string cookbook. And understanding the basic functions and simplifying the chaos as much as comfortable saves a lot of time. Oh yeah, I'm learning. I feel like the more I do control stuff, it gets a little less intimidating, but it's still painful. And hi, man, welcome to stream. And how long have you been coding for? You seem like you know what you're talking about. I have very little clue what I'm talking about. A few years back, I went to college for game dev. I programmed first in C++, so I have 2 years under my belt of C++ and Visual Studio. However, I then dropped out because I didn't want to learn Visual Studio. So after dropping out, I took like a break year, and then I hopped into learning Godot. So I have a background a little bit in game dev and C++, and then I've learned everything myself since for Godot stuff. But it's the more you do it, the more you understand it. And have you ever thought of making this a JRPG? Nope. You know, just to add a decade onto the development? Yup. That's where the pain comes in. And I've done UI rework once and didn't want to do it again anymore. I don't blame you. UI's definitely been a painful thing. However, it might be topped by navigation. I've been struggling to figure out navigation and for the AI of like the customers in the ghost. That's been very difficult. The navigation pathfinders, those things. Oh man, they hurt my head. Let's see, item.name text, and it's going to be cookbook. So cookbook, oh, hold on. Cookbook dot, and then our type to string, and then whatever type we get. So this icon type is going to be whatever is in here. But if it is a flavor, so let's see, that's the type. And if we go back to our cookbook, right, type to string, actually going to be, not that, it's going to be type. Yeah, okay, it's a dish. So it's this guy here. If it's a flavor, then it's going to be flavor. So let's see, flavor to string. That's the one we're looking for. So if it's a flavor, we do cookbook flavor to string. If it's a dish, we do type to string. And I kind of prefer to just do my UI in 3D and edit it from there. Interesting. I have seen some people do it before, like only glances, but that does sound, it doesn't sound as painful maybe, because you're not working in UI anymore. You're doing something else. It's UI, but not UI. That sounds like it could be fun if UI can be even called fun. Let's see. Now that our item name's changed, right? Oh, I did do that. Good. Yeah. Now that our item name is changed, we need to change the image, the texture itself. And this is where we need to check the images. So if we go back into, I think, let's see, cookbook up here, level data. Yeah. Where are we importing the images at? If I go into book, are we importing the images here? Flavor icon, flavor product, string. And if we go here, where are we using you at? You get used here. Interesting. Okay. Well then, that's a-okay and done. I think instead, we'll just get an image. So, we will get our own image from our interactable screens. They'll be imported in. So, let's see. What does that mean exactly? Item icon, that's what we're working on at the moment? Yep. Okay. Interactable screen. Our item icon will be given the item icon's texture. And from there, we'll be able to do everything for the atlas. So we get given a texture. We need the icon type, and we also need the texture. I believe we can just do sprite, or no, it would have to be texture, right? And the texture itself is going to be a compressed texture 2D. So compressed, let's see, texture, and then compressed texture 2D. C-O-M-P-R-E-S, texture 2D. Yep, like this. And then from there, we're going to set the texture. So, type, new type, we need to do the texture, so we can go ahead and have it as item icon dot texture equals new texture. That's what this guy needs to be named. So new underscore texture. That is not an underscore. New texture. So the texture is now this guy here. And now we just set the frames and the H frames, all of those things. And then we should be good to go, I think. And I consider teaching a streamer my way of using a multi-dimensional field of motion instead of a state machine, but I decided against it. It's always the one, it's a simple problem, creating this whole machinery to solve it, but if it works, can you really call it a problem? And hi Rodrigo, welcome into stream. What percentage of the game do you think you have done estimated? The hope is that I do the bare minimum to get it working, and to save the percentage of bare minimum stuff, I still have, and we can go back even to, let's see, here in planning, just to show you, studio mode here, you there. There you go. These are the things I have to get done before the demo releases. Once the demo releases, I think then I just have to fill content into the game. So once we do this mechanic, then I have to do the ghost, read the tutorials, have to do the visuals and the audio. So I can't give you quite an estimation, but up there are the to-do lists. So if you can think, as my estimation for making and completing this game was at the end of December, so from last August to last December. So my estimation is probably very inaccurate. I would say though, right, the rhythm system's more or less working. That was number one. The typing system, more or less working. Cafe system, more or less working aside from the bugs. Which just means we add a few more mechanics and features. So maybe we can say confidently at least 50%. At least, maybe. And I'll go back into this guy here. And I did read that. Good. And navigation in 2D for Godot is simple and good out of the box. You will get the hang of it in no time. I hope. I really hope. I don't know if you saw earlier, but the ghosts and the characters started moving in wonky ways. I'm learning to an extent, and every time I go back to it, but I feel like I have nightmares at this point. of the navigation agent and the navigation tile map systems on Paint. But it's still very fun. Let's see. So our item texture, and then from here, if we go to the flavor icon, we have to set the first frame and the second frame. And we also have to set the frame, I believe. So first frame will be cookbook flavor atlas combo index. Yeah. And a UK hand. From here, let's see. Yeah, we set the H frame, the V frame, and then we also set the frame. So if I go back into our item icon here, what we then have to do is set, let's see, the V frames and the H frames. So I think what makes this a little bit easier is and then doing, let's see, set frames. And from here, we'll get an int for H frames, so H underscore frames, and it's going to be an int. Then we'll also do V underscore frames, and it's also going to be an int, so int. And then we'll also get a frame, which is also going to be an underscore or int. And then it's going to return void, so we'll go ahead and do void here, and then that and that. And then from here, what we'll do is this guy. So our texture, our item icon texture dot frame is that, I think, or item. Why are you angry? Okay, you ignore that. You don't exist. You don't need that. Good. And now here, flavor. Yeah, you don't worry about the flavor. All right, you're a-okay, good to go. Texture frame, all of these guys, you don't even need them really. We need the frame of these, and we'll figure them out. We don't need to know anything about you. We just need to set the texture frame equal to, and all of these guys. So H underscore frame. Is that how you do it? Let's see. H frame. H frames. All right. H frames. Something like this, I think. And then H frames. Yeah. And then we'll do this for the other guys. And as we're about to start, I'll let them do their thing. And we'll take a break to have some coffee. Where is the button? I've lost it. Let me see if I can find it. There we are. I found it. And did I just get baited by Discord notifications that come from you, or am I hearing things? I misheard the audio. Thank you for telling me. My apologies. Yeah, that came from me. the audio setup. Sometimes Godot doesn't want to play through the Godot audio, so I have to turn on the desktop audio. Hopefully that wasn't too disruptive. Let me go ahead and hide this guy here. And the great thing about ghosts is that they can go through walls and tables, and no one would think twice about it. Well, the thing is, in this world at least, only necromancers can see the ghost, but people can feel the ghost's presence. So, for example, one of the things about, one of the mechanics was going to be the ghost would have a radius. That's what you saw there. And I can show you since we have some time to chat while we're waiting for the ads. But on our ghost, if I go back to here, there's a huge radius. If I unhide the radius, here we are, this here and this here, the radius. If the customer was in the radius, and depending on their fear level of ghost, their timer would go down quicker. Not only this, but this big blue circle you can see is the ghost vision. So if a ghost spotted you, they would chase you around. And because you're afraid of ghosts, or at least this character's afraid of ghosts, it was terrifying for her. And the idea is that because she's terrified, it makes it a little bit difficult to do the minigame. Not only that, but I'm thinking it'd be fun to have the ghost and have them mess around with the, what would you call it? Mess around with the ghost, having the things you get right on the bookshelf, have them pick them up or move them around or do something like that. Cause a little bit of mischief, maybe depending on the ghost, what we call it, the personality or something like that. I feel like that could be fun, but again, it's the thing of, it sounds fun, but how hard would it be to create? And for that, I'm not quite too sure, but we'll see. Let me go ahead and get some coffee. Oh, coffee. At the very least, I can say I figured out how to do navigation with the ghost. For example, the ghost can ignore the desk. The customers don't ignore the desk. However, customers are still having a little funny time with the desk. Let's see. While we're waiting on time, I can show you what I mean. my current blight, if you will. I'll go ahead and turn this down, and then I will, and let's see. You here? Enable you here. Yep, okay, now you can see it. And if I go back to levels, you here, spawn a customer. Spawn, go on. Yeah, how you doing? They're broken. I don't know what I did. Ignore that. That's not to do with navigation. You know what, customer? You weren't even here. Yeah. The tutorial customer, come in. Show them your moves. They kind of bump into things, don't they? And they do this little dip here. And another little dip here. And it's weird. Because if I go here, right? And I go back to here. And I go into my, let's see, cafe. And then I do the navigation visible. All of this, the blue, everything you're seeing that's blue, they can walk on. So why do they decide to do a little dip anywhere that's here? It's super weird. I don't know. It's a thing I'm trying to figure out, but again, could just be a thing of being a quirk on the game. Maybe it's not a bug, it's a feature. It definitely doesn't break the game, so there's no rush to fix it. However, I'd like to have this as polished as I can, and ads start in. Oh, we're good. Well, welcome back from the ads. Let's get back into things. And I thought it gives them character when they bump and dip, not a bug. Yeah, see? That's what I mean. It's like, they're not supposed to do that, but it's not game breaking. So there's not really a reason to fix it, aside from the fact of me not liking it. And it's not that I don't like it, it's just that it's not the expected behavior. And I'm fine with not modifying it. It would mean less work, but I'd like it to work the way I want it to. That would be most optimal. And so this doesn't mean, or does this mean I don't need to look into them not spawning sometimes since they barely spawn now? Well, I'll have you know, check. Because of your comment of them not spawning, I created a new necromancer. Did you see her? A new mancer for you. You now have, featuring, let me mute this guy here. Featuring, we now have the Mancer. Look at them. They're a little golem. They're made out of wood. And they are the most patient being out there. They will wait for eternity. And I'm guessing the other customers are glitched because of the system I made. But yeah, they're patient. They won't leave. Their timer's reset. So there's no way they will ever leave. Is the hope. Like, for example, when they're done reading, this timer, once it's up, they'll restart. And they won't ever get angry. So that's how I fixed that. I added a new customer with different things, but it also broke the old customer.
Vortex just followed.
You know. And thank you, Vortex, for the follow. Welcome to stream. Still saying all that and working on my rhythm typing cafe game. Ah, are you working on a rhythm typing cafe game too? What a coincidence. Unless you're just making a joke, at which case, so what a coincidence. And the what? Huh? What do you mean, Toak? And let's see. The ghost could change words into Gen Alpha speak. Oh, that's definitely not happening. And customers sometimes turn invisible. It's not a bug. It's a mechanic. It's a feature. Let's see. Oh, hope you don't mean. Oh yeah. We don't do any of that type of speech around here. I like my head. I like it not hurting, and that means we stick away from the brain rot speech as I can't handle it. And maybe set the agent into edge center? Wow, funny you say that. Customer, right? It is edge centered. I did check that. We have the customer here, navigation agent, edge centered. I tried a lot of different things, though I do appreciate the suggestion. If you have any more, please send them my way. I will by all means try them. If I can get them working again, I'll be very happy. And so what are we currently working on? Had to tune out for a bit? No worries, the ads just happened, so I went into a mini rant about the navigation system. We're currently making a UI. That's what this guy is here. We want the UI to properly show what items you can select in the game. And that's one thing I don't like about Godot. All the paper cuts from small glitches like that make it hard to get a polished project, though they fixed quite a few since I started. Interesting. Yeah, you know what? Maybe it's not me, it's Godot. But I'd like my best to take responsibility where I can. Well, certainly, it could be a thing of just, it's the engine. I would not be surprised. But again, since I'm a beginner, I wouldn't blame it. What we're doing right now, Escobar, is, you can see, right, the frames, I want it to show certain images for certain flavors. And I'm back! Welcome back, Slatos. Welcome back. And if I click here, go back to here, into concepts, just as a quick refresher, you want to create a system that pops up that you can select what you're choosing. Right now, you have to use your mouse to select all the flavors and the foods. So we're going to swap out this menu with this menu that you're able to control with your mouse. So you're able to select it and say, yes, that's what I want. we have made the actual object. So now we have to figure out a way to fill this object up with the information we need. And that's what we're doing currently. And always in Godot. Feels like it. And as a bug, it's a feature. It's not a bug or a feature. It's magic. I see. Magic, I mean, that would be fitting, wouldn't it? And always in Godot? Maybe. I've had good experience with Godot at the very least. So what I was doing was I was changing these V frames and was also changing the frames. The H frames, the V underscore frames, and then the also, let's see, oh no, not underscore. It's V frames and then frame. I believe, like this. And let's just double check. I think if I click texture here, yeah, V frames. If we go all the way up to this guy, there is V frames, there is H frames, and there's frames. So all we're doing is we're taking that texture, whatever we get, and we're setting the frames for it. And remember that emo grid? Don't remind me. So from here, now we just have to do set frames, and it'll be something like this: set frames and set frames. And that should be the idea completed. Now we just have to fill in the set frames. And to do that, we need to know the H frame, the V frame, and the frame. So going back to our cookbook, I believe we should be able to find that answer. We have in here our tactic texture, which gives us the texture. We have in here our flavor combo atlas, which are these guys. So I can go ahead into our flavor combo atlas, and then we also have our type atlas. Interesting. If I do, let's see, flavor combo atlas and type to texture, they seem to be different things. Interesting. Okay, for our flavor combo, it's left and right. That's what I'm guessing it is. Yeah, sweet, sweet, bitter, bitter. We only need a frame then for this guy here. Okay, never mind. I take it all back. We don't even need all these guys. Just remove it from your ideas. And if the customers are character bodies, they might be affected by platformer grounding gravity. Nope, they're not affected by gravity. From what I remember, there's an option to set it to be like that. If I do really quickly go back to the customers. I remember someone pointing that out initially. I don't believe that's the case. Yeah, motion mode, right? That's what it is. Their motion mode is set to floating. So I don't believe that's the reason. Maybe there's a motion mode in navigation agent. However, again, this is still pretty new to me. I've done a bit of it. So if that's what you were suggesting, that is the answer to that one. Let me go ahead and close that and that. And let's see. The baby mode guide's great, but about the bug, did you figure out the issue? Because it's not time related. It might be an issue else, because when I said that they did that in the tutorial, I'm not sure if that don't do that in normal gameplay. I really passed a tutorial when I played this before recently, so I didn't check there. I did a lot of test spawning, so I did a lot of spam spawning. So I think it was just a tutorial issue, because the tutorial spawn system works different than the game spawn system. It works a lot differently, as what the tutorial checks for is that there's always a customer in the cafe. So I don't think it's an issue for the cafe system, since the cafe just spawns them every so often. Doesn't matter. The tutorial itself says, oh, customer left, respawn. So it's a little bit different. And I'm too unfamiliar with navigation. No worries. And don't like how weak it is at dynamic situations. It's very wonky. And let me go back here. Yeah, okay. GDScript, yep, it is. And doesn't look like GML. Never heard of GML. And GDOscript, yep. Makes sense, because she's using Godot. I didn't know Godot had its own coding language. Yep. GDScript is kind of like Python, is what I've heard. I don't know Python. I come from a background of C++, so it's a thing of learning new things. But the transition from C++ to GDScript has been very fun. I've enjoyed it. I like it a lot more, I think, than C++. So let's see. Set frames, it's not even needed. I thought it was, but it's not, because we only need the number of the frames. Yeah, we only need the number of the frames, I'm thinking. However, if the texture's this one, for example, right? And
Lord Rhinox,
Lord Rhinox, is that how you say it? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to stream. Welcome to Trials and Tribulations. If we want, for example, a cake, right? What would we do? This would be frame 1, and then this would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, you know what? Maybe it is needed. If it's this flavor, then it is, yeah, we'd have to have the H frames and the V frames. Never mind, I take it back. This should still be needed. So, depending on the image we get, will be the frame we need. So new type, icon type, and then new texture. And this icon type here is either going to be the flavor or the other guy. So if we go back to our interactable guy here, just for a quick second, set guide pages, we can set this as func for, I think ready works. Possibly, we'll see. Ready's probably not going to work just because it's usually doesn't like doing spawning in those. And I'm glad I could help then, if you can ever call it that. No, yeah, you're completely helping check. The fact that you take time to try to bug test is really helpful. It's really been handy, as I can't really, I don't know too many people to test the game, so the fact that I'm able to get feedback like that is invaluable. That's the word I'm looking for. It's really helpful. And monkey doesn't wear any pants, huh? I'm a little confused what you mean, Slatos. So, saying that, right, let's crop out this guy for now, as what we're looking for is for cookbook.current level products. I see. Okay. What we need is a new function called func, and then set icons. ICONS. Set icons. And this guy is, I'm guessing, going to have a signal. We'll do void, and then that's where this guy comes in. So utility dot, is it like cookbook something? Gotta be something along the lines of that. If I go back into my book here, we should see something along that feel. We go down here, Visa. This cookbook, this book here is a very old code. There's a lot of this stuff that doesn't work anymore, and I barely know what I'm looking at. I have been slowly going through and redoing the code. So all of these things you see here, temporary. And the simplest way to do navigation is to implement it yourself. Yep. So if it broke, you can blame yourself for it. Yeah. All me. I wholeheartedly take that blame. And it's a weird meme. I see. So as I was saying, let's see, assign minigame, yep, allow book spellcast, enable spellcasting. It's one of these guys. And again, I haven't looked at this in ages, and the hope was to slowly go through and start fixing this up, as I cleaned up my player, I cleaned up the customer. This has not been touched. So let's see. Back at R, I should be able to find it easily enough. If we go to our, let's see, our customer page. Nope, we're looking for our flavor guide. When do we use flavor guide? When we do our temp guide page. Alrighty, when do we do our temp guide page? When we do guide page. When do we use guide page? See, go back up here, guide page, all page merge, guide page, set book pages. When do we use set book pages? Go back up, utility.set book pages. This is the one we're looking for. That's the guy. That's the signal. Alright, then we can go back into here, into interactable screen. So utility.set book pages, and then we shall do .connect into set icons. So this little guy here. And when we're ready to set the icons, we shall set all of the icons there. That works out. For product and cookbook current level products, as now the cookbook's been set up, now we can create a new panel. So to do that guy, what we have to do is grab our icon here. And I believe we load it in as a scene. This is the icon underscore panel, I believe. Nope, it is item icon. Got ya. Item underscore icon. Oh man, okay, yeah. I want to go through the book and clean it up. That is something on my to-do list, as I think, especially because we're changing out the code and the way the game works itself. This is something at the core level that needs to be tweaked. Let's see. I go back into here, and this is our interactable screen. We grab our item icon underscore. So item underscore icon. This guy here, and we should be able to, like, drag and drop this guy. Does that work? Yeah, preload. And to do navigation script. All right, navigation's done. It gets put on the board. You know, I have a small organization system, just a small one. It is a work in progress, as I do want to slowly scrape through everything. And as I'm cleaning up the code, I want to go into detail and make this a whole self-wiki and a hold on. This guy here, this guy there. There you go. So as I'm cleaning up the code, I'll be able to describe what is what. For example, I have a description of what targets are. I have the code, so it is a thing. And right now, I think my to-do list looks like I don't quite like the way this looks. I wonder if there's a plugin for Obsidian where you can make the unchecked ones go to the top. Possibly, but I don't know. This looks sort of thing where it is going to be done soon. And Slatos, I don't know what you're saying. If you could, this feels a little on the spam side. If you could tone it down a smidge, that'd be lovely. As it makes it a little bit hard for me to see what's going on in YouTube chat. It's already words enough that I can't really understand what's going on. So let's see. Back into programming here. And then from there, we have item icon. And from you, item icon. Let's see. Item icon, yeah. And we need to instantiate. So new item item.
Blue Dream
icon.
subscribed on
And
YouTube.
thank you to, hold on, Blue Dream, and welcome to stream. Welcome in. And I'm not spamming, don't worry. You look like you're having a conversation with yourself, which is a little hard to read on my side of things. Let's see. New item icon panel. Hold on. Yep, there we are. Like that. And we instantiate it. And just yeah, see. No, I don't want that. No, thank you. And the to-do list is longer than any code I ever wrote. I like to be as detailed as I can. So let's see. Product grid. Now for you, we want to add the child. So back at this guy here, our interactable screen, we want this to be the grid container. I'll go ahead and set this as access a unique name and move that there. And grid container. So it's going to be grid container, and then it's going to be .add child. And then we do new item grid. Now, why are you angry? What's going on here? Oh, it's not an icon panel. This guy here needs to be set to extend class name, class underscore name, and you are going to be item icon. I think that's okay. I don't think there's duplicates. Are there? Item icon sprite 2Ds, that's named item icon. Okay, I think we're fine. And this is my comment on my custom navigation. Path desired distance is still a mystery to solve. Use 0.6 or it will break. That's what it feels like. And one little change changes the entire thing. I'm telling you, it's hard. Let's see. The item icon, I just want to make sure that's already not a thing as a class. Item icon, maybe item icon. Okay, so it's not already. Good. So class name here. And why are you angry? I see. Okay. We'll comment you out so you can be an actual thing set in motion. Will you change your color on your name? Here? There we are. Item icon. Now in our interactable select screen, we have not item icon panel, we have item and then item icon. Something like that. So we do new item icon, then we add it as a child. And then from there, we do new item icon dot. And then we do, let's see. For you, it's going to be create icon, and looking at the code makes me sleepy. I'm glad it gives you a relaxing feeling and not a chaotic feeling. I pride myself on being organized, so saying my book code, it brings me to tears, and I will get to this. Oh man. I remember back when I was in school being taught it should never be this long. And it's that thing of, if it works for you, it works for you. But for me, I get lost. So I feel like it should be shorter, just for organization's sake. And I see that makes sense totally. Not any idea what's going on right now? Not. Let's see. Back in our item icon, right? Here, and then here, update icon. So flavor icon, not you, item icon. So for our item icon, what we're going to do is do create icon. That's the guy that we're using out of frames. And okay, nothing is split, we're safe for now. That's the one way to describe it. We really are going to need some help, SOS. So we do this, we do create icon, new item, create icon. And then for here, right, we're seeing all of these guys. These are the things that need to be filled in. So I can go ahead and copy this here, move you in here, paste you here. And we'll just copy you out there so we can read. We need first the icon type. So in this example, since it's the product, I think that's the easiest to test for now. Since it's the product, we can go ahead and say, let's see, it's going to be item icon dot type, and then it's going to be dot, and it's going to be dish, like this. And are you streaming tomorrow? Nope, Slatos. You should be able to check on the website itself. There should be in the description you can check, but I stream from Friday to Sunday from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. EST. And I try my best to work on the game outside of stream itself, but usually 3 days of the week and for 4 hours is the time I go for. And with coding, don't question anything. If it works and you don't know why, it's okay. The website, yes, Slito. If you check the description, you should be able to find it. And I'll do this here. WEBSITE. There. And actually, SCHEDULE. There we go. That should make it easier. And then I'll copy that from here to there, because for some reason, I can't get the YouTube bot to work. So do this instead. If you check that there, Slatos, that should give you the updated schedule. And any chance you pump those numbers up from 3 days ago? What do you mean, Malphabet? Can you elaborate a smidge? Whatever could you mean? So let's see. The item type is dish. And then we do the product. So yeah, that's that right there, right? And then from there, we do, let's see, comma, and this is where we do the texture. So here's where we're going to need the texture for this guy here. So I think we should be fine to import the texture. So So if we do dish atlas, let's see, item icon, or yeah, item background, no, icon. Let's see, order atlas icon PNG. Yeah, and I'm gonna see if I can just get your UID. Is that possible? And it's going to be something like this, I think. Like this. And then, I don't know if you can preload a UID. Maybe. And it's still streaming? Yeah. I still have like 40 minutes of streaming left. It's right now 4:20 for me, but I stream from 1 to 5 p.m. EST time. Let's see. This is const item icon. This is going to be the texture. And then TXTURE is going to be, let's see, compressed 2D. Yeah, compressed texture. Compressed texture 2D array. Like that. And then we can go ahead and save it. And then for here, all we do is do item icon product and texture. Like that. There we go. We send in the texture. And that should be good to go. So let's go back into now our item icon. Now that that's linking up. And then for our flavor, or no, our dish, because we're doing dish, right? So dish here, and our set frames. For here, what we'd have to do is we're going to take the texture, or no. For our cookbook, how can we know the texture arrays? Is there a guy here, Atlas Index? No, there's not. Okay, that's fine. Maybe we just have, interesting one. Animation here and all these V-frames. Is there a way we can just take that information with us? Or is there not a way? Like if there was a way to just grab the image itself? I don't know. Or yeah, I'm not too sure. But that's okay. What we'll do is we'll just send it maybe a vector 2 to say size. And that could work. Size, and then that will choose our frame. Yeah, we'll do that instead. I think that works fine. So instead what we'll do is, let's see, vector 2, size. Vector, VECTOR 2. And then we have, hold on. We have, let's see, texture underscore size. And it is going to be vector 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 2. There we are. And then it's going to be dot X. And I think it's going to be dot Y. There we are. Dot Y. This might be painful though, because H frames and V frames could be silly. We'll see. And then for here, when we do create icon, we'll also add in here the texture size. It'll be the vector 2 here. So now we can go ahead and get started. This texture size here, we'll go back to the interactable guy, and that texture size is going to be 2,4. It's going to be a vector 2, and then it's going to be 2_4, because this is the size. And let's see. My dog's looking at me like, why are you going to walkies with me? I shall lie in your head while you sleep. Well, I can't quite disagree with the dog. It sounds adorable, though. Let's see. Create icon call. Expected at most 3, but received. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't. What do you mean? Let's see. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Create icon. You need product, dish, product. Dish, product, texture, vector. What do you have? Dish. Yep. This is that. That. This and this, and our set frames. I see. All right. So there's going to be texture size, and then it's going to be cookbook dot, or well, yeah, cookbook top dot, and then it's going to be type atlas index. So we'll just grab this guy here, cookbook dot type atlas index, and then we can go ahead and put on here icon type, icon underscore type, and that should settle that, and that should settle this. Yes. Okay. So let's see if we can get it working. And do you have a pet? I do. I have a cockatiel and 2 dogs. Let's see. Item icon. Yep. Okay. So now that we have this guy good to go, I'm curious to see if we just import it in the game. And I have unlocked double chatting. What do you mean? Let's see. I bring in our interactable screen here. I'm gonna set the size to We'll keep you as maybe a canvas layer for now, just so we can check on screen. We'll make it the child of a canvas layer. Like this, I think, can work. And then do outside. And then you on screen here. Let me set your size. And, oh, I see what you mean. Got ya. Anchor present. I see. Okay. And then transform. I want to move you about here. Yeah. So when we load into the game, it should be in the top corner, I think. My game's going to be so eerie and kind of creepy, but like in the best way. Congrats! Congrats on getting the feel you want. Well, that's very nice to hear. I'm so smart. Big brain. Let's see. Go here, go here. Oh, you didn't need to see any of that. Let me double check nothing wrong showed. No, I think we're good. That's just the YouTube thingy. You saw YouTube for a second. They didn't become
Real
ghosts
Anton
for a minute.
subscribed on YouTube.
Speaking of YouTube, thank you too. Hold on, I can't see that name. It should be, hold on, Real Lantern. Welcome, and thank you. Okay, where were we? Let me make sure that's also just a guy that shouldn't show. Yeah, we're good. There we are. Lovely to see. And why does everything I ask sound like I'm trying to steal your information? I don't know. So let's see. Level here. Yep. And the hope is that, let me also mute this guy so it's not as big. And well. Hi, Sharky. Welcome in. Welcome back. The hope is that we're going to see the flavors, not the flavors, the products, right? And look who it is. Same time, same place. So, well, you know, the first time for everything. All right, try again. Now there's not utility. And thank you. I guess thank you. Okay, try again, right? What do we get? Levels? No one spawns? Interesting. Okay. So it did do 3 items, right? And let me see if I can move this guy to make it easier to see in game. Good, okay. Well, maybe move it to the top left then. It's just a checker. Maybe a little bit back down. Maybe a little bit more to, yeah, just go right there. There we go. Okay, so what we're hoping to see when it finally works is we want to see cookie, cake, and hot cocoa. But we definitely have 3 items, which is good to see. Something's not working though, and I'm not sure quite yet what it was. So let's see. Item icon dot type dish product texture. If you want to steal her YouTube info files, your message is giving it away is not a good sign. You gotta be smooth and sneaky. Well, it didn't show anything. It just showed the dates and things of that nature, so it's fine. Thankfully. So let's see. Item icon, item data, sprite, all those things. Yep. And my Ringo bye-bye. Huh? I heard you just mean explosion with the brain. Let's see. Level data. Yep. Okay. So, for some reason, the item name's not setting. We have the item type as dish here. Item type as Atlas Index dish. So what we'll do is I'll also print out the item name. Item underscore name. And I'll also print out... Oh, too many prints. I'll also print this out. I want to see what we get. This guy here. Click on play here. And what do we get? If I go back to here, levels, you here. Did it not do a signal yet? Or current state, new state? No. Alrighty. Time to bring out things I don't like using. Breakpoints. Breakpoint you here. Yep. Let's go ahead. I need to go in the zone. What do we have? Go ahead and meet you here. And hey, Iris, can I ask you a quick YouTube analytic type question? Just because I'm curious about this. Depends on the question, I suppose. Let's see. Levels, no one spawns. Okay, let's go into here. What are we at currently? The product is, current value is 2. Do we have the texture loaded? There is no description available. Is there a texture though? I can't tell. I think there might be. Possibly. It's not empty. That's a good point. And then the vector 2, all of those things. We go inside, step into. And did you know about custom resources? I use them all the time. That's what the dishes and the items and things of that nature, that's what those are. Especially the levels. The levels are the custom resource. Once I found out about them, I couldn't stop. And, well, okay, I'm not asking about you personally, but generally, does YouTube for the viewer once the viewer clicks the video, or do they pay for how much the video clicker watches? Oh, I don't know. For YouTube at least, they pay you once you make $100. And if you don't make if you make $5, if you make $90, right? And then it takes you another 10 years to get that extra $10, you won't see anything about that $90. So I don't know monetization wise. I'm not well versed in it. And I only just recently learned about them. They're really neat. When I first started learning about them, they were lovely. And I didn't why people popped that in my head, but I was curious. No worries. Yeah. No worries at all. There's no wrong questions here. Let's see. Type new name. Does this sound spooky? Hold on. That's too spooky. How about this one? Okay, better, way better, less spooky. And all she cares about is YouTube pays. Huh? What do you mean? I've been doing this up until now and YouTube hasn't paid me a cent. I've been doing YouTube for 3 years, check, and I haven't seen a dime, but I like doing it. I love making videos and I love talking about topics. So there's, could not paying me for 5 years and I wouldn't mind. I like the interaction. Excuse me, words. I like the interaction with people. That's what I really enjoy. So let's see. Create item. Yeah. All right. Continue in. Step into. Item texture equals new texture. Type, not flavor. It's a dish. Yes. We have the texture and everything. And okay, sorry then. No worries, Jack. I understand the questions. And let's see. Dish. Item type name. Yeah. And then we don't do anything. Huh. Weird. Okay. Create item type name. Yeah, create the item. We go down, we go down, we go down. And then dish. And that's it. It doesn't seem to ever reach here. Weirdly enough. Oh. Okay, try again. Now that that's been cleared up, does it work? Possibly. Let's see. Okay. H frames on object. So we're getting new errors. And hi, Chara. Welcome to stream. Where's Akara? But welcome in. Hello. Alrighty, texture. Yeah. And then item icon dot texture. So why are H frames not good for our compressed texture to be? That's what I want to know. If we go back into here, our interactable item icon, you know what? How about instead of importing, yeah, I like that a little bit better. I don't like the idea of importing all of these guys. Instead, we won't do that. We won't import the texture. We'll use the texture on our own time. We won't need to know about the texture. Yeah, texture will not need to be known. Just addition the product. And then here, we won't need any of that. We'll just need the frame. Instead, we'll delete all of you. Make sure you're not playing anymore. And it's getting late where I live, so I unfortunately have to go. No worries, Slatos. I hope you have a lovely time with your rest, as rest is super important. And chat, guess who has 10k Stardust? What does that mean? Hold on. I don't like these words you're spitting out of your mouth. But again, I hope you have a lovely one, Slatos. Thanks for chatting around. Let's see. Set frames, you, and you. Yeah. And then, right, what I'm thinking is instead, we have this saved, and then in our item icon, we use it here. And in our item icon, we can do a few different things, I think. In our item icon, instead, we have maybe dish icon and item icon. And depending on which one it is. So this is, I'm thinking maybe flavor icon, or we could have dish icon, D-I-S-H-I-C-O-N, dish icon. And depending on the two is the one we go for. So for example, this is flavor, this is item. Yep, these are all these guys. So depending on what it is, we'll show that specific one. Already the frames are good to go. They're already set. All we have to worry about is the index. But back here for our icons, instead, we'll go ahead and delete you. We'll go ahead and we'll drag these two guys here. Hold on. Like that. And then, now what we can do is remove you. You're not needed anymore. We also don't need to know about the texture size anymore, which is nice. And we also don't need to know about the type or the new texture. We still need to know about the type. So that type equals that. So now it's just new type and icon. So now what we can do, and can't be sleepy while band practice. You said it's late. So I hope your band practice goes well then. Let's see. Dish, product, name. Yep, okay. Name, cookbook, type to string. Yeah. And then, okay. So now that we have our flavor icon, we're going to do flavor icon.show. So that's what's going to happen. .show, like this. How? The S key on my computer is broken just because of... Oh,
Stealth Orc just followed.
Let me get that name. That is Stealth Orc. Thank you for the follow. I do recall that name from earlier. And is the dish icon off-center? I don't think so, is it? It doesn't feel off-center. That's not off-center. That's not off-center. Oh, hold on. You and you. Nope, we're good to go. Thankfully. Oh man, I got worried for a second. And wait, just so we're clear, it's pronounced Slade Toes. No worries, that's what I was asking about earlier. When you first came in, I always ask people, how do they pronounce their names? And maybe you told me earlier and I just forgot. I tend to do that often, but Slay does. I'll try to remember next time. I hope you have a lovely one. Slay does. There we are. I'll get it eventually. So let's see. Set frame, yeah. Flavor icon.show. And then next up we have you, right? And it's going to be instead dish icon. Dish icon.show. And it has doubles. Do you mean this little guy here? These guys? That will be cleaned up. If that's what you mean, yeah, I do know about that. And I don't get what you mean. I'm still a little confused. Let's see. Dish icon.show. And then we're going to set the frame. So what we'll do is frames equal and do frames. No. It's going to be the texture, right? So dish icon dot texture, or no, dot frames, dot frame, and then set it. That's okay. And then we set that frame equal to, and then we can go ahead and do cookbook type atlas index and do this guy here. And let's just double check if we go back to the cookbook. Yeah, type atlas index. It's going to be that guy there. So instead, the code's gonna look like this. And that's what I was wondering about. Oh, no worries then. Yep. I did the art very quickly. Hopefully it'll be updated later, as I just wanted to get something in the game so we can see, as I definitely want the icons to look different. Right now, that little funny guy stays there. So let's see. Yeah, dish.frame, and then have the frame. Try that instead. So, go back to here, go back to play. Did it fix it? And Slay Toes. Got ya. No worries. Let's see. Go back here, and look at it. It's doing the thing. However, it's a little bit too big. We'll have to make it a little bit smaller. However, cookies, cake, and hot cocoa, right? And just to double check, let's go ahead and see. I'll go back into our no spawn, yeah, no entities, right? Let's only do cookies again. So I'll just get rid of cake and cocoa, and we'll only have cookies. And it should only do cookies because of the other code. Let's see. Levels and everything. Let me go ahead and mute that guy here. Levels and no one spawns. Only cookies. Which is great news to hear. Lovely. Okay, good. Great. Things are moving. So now we just need to do it for flavor. And it's 4:39, so I think certainly we can do it for... There should be more than enough time, I think, to finish this up. And we can add a few icons as well for the flavors, new ones. That way we don't have to worry about the other guys. Saying all of that, let's see. I'll change the size of the dish icon a little bit. I feel like that's a little bit too big. So maybe the scale for this guy is more so 3.5? Like that. I think that might fit better. We'll see. And smell you later. Have a lovely one. And have to go? No worries, Chuck. Good luck with making the issue dish appear. Oh, that was terrible. It's late for me, so I'll send my expressions out at what should be tomorrow for you. No worries. And also wish you a nice week. Thank you. And I hope you have a lovely, nice week too, Chuck. Thanks for stopping by and saying hello and chatting it up. Let's see. Yeah, okay. For our flavor icon, we're going to use a different texture. I don't like this one, so let's quickly make a different one, as I think it's a little bit easier to do. Right now, I believe there's 3 flavors, so we should be a-okay and fine. We'll go ahead and go back into Aspart really quickly, and let's doodle some up. And I was going to do these guys. I don't remember what they were for, but that's fine. All I want to do is just make a quick outline, so something like that. And I want to do like a little bottle for our, as I think these should be not ink cartridges, but just something to hold the ink in. And I think they're usually square, aren't they? Something like this, and then they have the flat top. Maybe something like that, and then the inside will have all the things on the interior. Again, these are gonna change. This is just temporary. I have to remind myself of that. So I'll go ahead and remove all of these guys here. We'll also go ahead and add the top. Something like this. And maybe just, maybe a flatter top. Like that. There. And there. And there. And maybe some of you up here. Maybe a little flat there. Little flat there. Maybe a side here. There. And then, yeah. I like that better. So no more to you. We'll do this instead. And erase you. Do a little bit around here. They almost look like little health potions, don't they? Maybe we can go back down there. there. And then this will be the top. Yeah, I like that better. And a little there. Yeah, that'll work out well. Okay. What about that orange area I was trying to do earlier? Maybe like that there. And that should work out fine. Just A-okay. And oh!
Zlixpl just followed.
Zlixpl? Is that how you say it? Welcome to stream, and thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Welcome to trying to make sure I don't do too much on the art. This is just temporary, but it just feels like it needs to be at least a little nice. Something like that, and we'll be good. And everything, it's so hard to not wanting it to be perfect the first time. Oh, 100%. Even when you know it can be done later. Oh yeah. I am a terrible perfectionist, but I can say at least I've been getting better. Truthfully, I've tried my best to get better at accepting it now, changing it later, and I've been doing a lot better. Words. And what do you think? And would you play an exploration, puzzle solving kind of spooky, not in your face jump scare? I don't like spooky games, and I don't like puzzle games. So you're kind of already, I'm not really the market for that type of game. My favorite game is, well, one of my favorite games is Undertale, Deltarune. They're big on puzzles, and I don't like them. But I love the game, so I can tolerate it. So we have bitter here, right? And I think usually you do like a darker color, so something like this here, something like there. Yeah. Oh, or maybe it's light. Oh no. Okay, one color. We're keeping it simple, super simple. And the gasp. What are you gasping about, Sharky? And we'll go ahead and zoom out here. Right, canvas size. I'll go ahead and width, I can do plus 16. I remember I could do it on here. I just didn't remember I could do it on the other one. You okay on here? And have you ever lived? I have! Last year I tried Five Nights at Freddy's for the first time. It was terrifying. You know, I like watching people play horror. I don't play horror. Horror is scary. I can't do it. I've tried. It's nada. Don't want it anywhere near me. This should be like a lighter pink for sweet, right? And then for our ghost, or memory, it's kind of more of a soft purple. Something like this is more memory based. And do my potions. These aren't supposed to be potions, they're supposed to be ink vials, but we'll see. Do horror content or for content. The only time I'll do a horror game is during October. That's the only time. You get one horror stream a year. One horror stream a year. That's all I'll allow. Outside of that, no horror. You know, I didn't even get to finish the Five Nights at Freddy's, but maybe I'll do a poll to see which one we want to do. So let's see. Flavor Atlas. There we are. And then this is a PNG. I can go ahead and maybe make you downloads. I am not looking forward to the that stream when it comes. See you in October. Telling you, I'm not looking forward to it. I wouldn't call Deltarune or Undertale full of puzzles, but it's puzzle-like. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't like puzzles to begin with. I don't like mazes. There's some sections in Undertale and Deltarune that have mazes. I am not a fan of them. There's some where you have to push the snowball, for example. That's a puzzle. So there's puzzles in there, and I don't like them just because they're puzzles. But the game finds a way to make them enjoyable. I can't say that. And welcome, by the way, CGI guy. Welcome in. So let's see. Programming back to here. Yep. And then from there, let's exit out of you here. And we need to go into our dishes, yep, and our bookshelf, yep. So we'll go ahead and put the asset that we just made into here, our flavor atlas. This guy here. And then from there, what we'll do is on this flavor icon guy, right? We just change the texture, move it into here. And then from here, what we can say is that there is 3 H frames and the free frame is 0. Like that. You can go ahead and save it. And if I unhide it, that's the icon we're going to get for now. So I'll go ahead and hide this guy again. And the hope is now, if we go into our cookbook, so this guy here, and a type atlas index. Technically, we can make our own type atlas index here, but for now, I'll keep them all in the same area. And mazes, dice, that is good stuff. I mean, I like dice. I'm an RPG, or TTRPG, or what's the word I'm looking for, with tabletop. The type atlas, we'll go ahead and do flavor. I don't think this is already a thing. Yeah. And then for here, we'll do flavor of, let's see, flavor sweet, bitter, none. Yeah, all you guys. We'll just grab it here. And then you should be numbers. There's no none at the moment. And I think that's okay for now. And then for sweet is going to be 1, bitter is going to be 0, and memory is going to be 3, or 2, right? And then here, what we do is we just go back into here, go back into our item icon, and all this is just going to be doing this here, and then for our cookbook type atlas index, we change it out for flavor atlas index. So if I go ahead and save this guy, move this guy here, right? Flavor atlas index, go back to our interactable select screen. If I go into our cafe here, yep, and you know what? I think it's fine to mix them up. And flavor icon sounds like a band name. Are you ready to flavor icon? Let's see. For here, yeah, I think this is fine. The only issue I have is usually it's just copy and paste. But it's that thing of, if it's not something you should be worried about, that's fine. For me, I try to go by the rule of 3. For example, the example here is this is product, we have flavor, and then this is level products, this is flavor, I believe, level flavors. And let's just double check. Level flavors is a dish of flavor. Yep, an array of flavors. And then from here, we have new item, all of these guys, grid container, add child, and then instead of type dish, we set it to type flavor, like that. And product not in the current scope. What are you angry about? Let's see. Product. Oh, product's not in the current scope? What do you mean? Product for product in cookbook for product and flavor? What are you angry about? Or product and flavor? Hold on. Oh, this guy. There you go. Alrighty. So we should see 2 lists, right? And if we go into our level here, let's see, no spawn, I think, no entities, and fish flavor sounds awful. It does. Disgusting. That would be sea flavor. Will there be a whole spell or wizard system for fishermen? What would they be? Fishmancers or aquamancers? Well, you have your water wizards, right? But would you think they'd be really good fishermen, or would there be a different wizard type of school for them? Let's go and do, let's see, no entities here. And then, right, what we're looking to see is we're looking to see cookie and sweet and bitter. Well, 3 things. But if I go ahead and click play on here, we have cookie, sweet, and bitter appear on screen. Let's do a test. Let's do Godot here, Godot back to here. Here we are. And go ahead and meet you. And what do we have? We should see cookie, sweet, bitter. Cookie, sweet, bitter. Okay, something's wrong with the sweet. That's A-okay. Let's see. Our item guy here. I'm guessing it's an issue on the cookbook. Sweet is 1, bitter is 0. Is that an index thing? Hold your horses. Our index currently at the moment is, let's see. So V frame 0, frame 1, and frame 2. Frame 1 should be sweet. Frame 0 should be bitter. If we go back into this guy here, let's see. Frame 0, bitter. Frame 1 is sweet. And frame 2 is memory. Okay. Things off still. And that can't be DLC. The Fishermancer or the Fishmancer. Let's see. They always smell like fish and leave a trail of seawater. I'd love to have little things like that. Just little charm to the game. Let's see. Flavor, sweet, bitter, and memory. This should work. I'll also move bitter up here just because it's in order. However, why is it saying the frames are off? Let's go back into our item icon here. And flavor icon. Oh, dish. No, that's right. Flavor icon. Got ya. This there. Okay, that should fix it, I think. Fingers crossed. Let's see. I will go ahead and mute you here. Now do we have the correct icons for everything? No one spawns? Yeah. Interesting. The cookie icon is weirdly showing up, which I'm not too sure about. Oh, I know why. We have to hide it. Okay. 4 times the charm. Let's see. And levels. Yep. No one spawns. And we have it. So we have cookie, sweet, and bitter. And now, if we wanted to, for example, have, let's see, back to the no entity spawn. So no entities. We click on this guy here. If we wanted to add cake, we could. We could also add cocoa to the level. And then we could also only do sweet. So now it should be 4 things. Cookie, cake, cocoa, and sweet. And is it working? Let's see. If I go ahead and press escape here, lower that down. 4 things. 4 things. Cookie, cake, hot cocoa, and sweet. Isn't that neat? So now, the hope is to separate these into 2 panels. And when you open the panel on interacting with the bookshelf, that's when the guy happens. But right now, we have the panels appearing. I guess what we could work on now is the bowl of it being selected and all of those guys. If it's enabled, if the select screen is on, then you can move those. We only have a few minutes left, but I still think we can get something done. This is certainly, I'm really excited. We didn't get everything done, but we got a thing done, right? That's the point. So let me go ahead and save this here. let's go back to concepts and let's mark that off our list. So let's see. Do you have notes built into the code that relay your frustration? What do you mean? Saw a video all about notes the dev made in Windows. I try my best to make sure my codes are constructive. Back when I was in school, my professors told me I wrote too many notes. If the note is describing something that can be implied or inferred, and if it is something that's already said in the thing, so for example, if you have a function called spawns dish, but then you make the comment spawns dish, that's what I was doing. So instead, the comment should be something like spawns so-and-so in a way, so that should actually give an example. Otherwise, you don't need the comments. But I always, for me at least, try to make my comments feel sensible. Don't look at my comments and my code. The code of a developer certainly shows a lot about the person. And thank you for sending that, Eska. Let's see. All right, so actually, I don't know if there is enough time. That's okay. So interact with bookshelf, menu pops up. What we just did is we made the menu, and that menu was that little guy there. It does not pop up at the moment, right? Which is something else entirely. However, let's see, if we go down here, move this guy, we now have a menu. We need to add the ability to open the menu, close the menu, things of that nature. That's next up on the to-do list. That's where interacting with the bookshelf comes. So I think that's next up on the to-do list, right? And the hope is that because, well, I sometimes try my best to, well, not sometimes, I do try my best to work on this off stream. So the hope is that if I can't get this done this week during my free time, then we'll continue working on this list. And in the meantime as well, I'll see about figuring out those bugs. And we'll see, we'll go from there, why don't we? So let me bring you back into, let's see, this guy here. The link Escobar just sent. If you'd like to get the latest updates to the development, I also stream myself working on the development during the week in Discord as well. So if you want to keep close eye on this project, then you can consider joining the Discord, as I do post updates there when I'm working on it during the day, or I'll be in the Discord like VC, things of that nature. So if you'd like that, there is that. And let me go ahead and also put it in the YouTube guy as well. So if you want to follow the development, that's right there. Otherwise, though, we'll continue working on this next week. We have study plans, so we'll see, well, pixel art study. So if you're new here, I also study pixel art, as I'm making pixel art for my game, and once a week, I try to learn different topics about studying. So it's either going to be, and 5e Thumb, is that how you say it? Welcome to stream, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but thank you for the follow. And it's either going to be, next week we'll learn more about how to draw pixel art clothing, or we'll learn more about how to draw pixel art water. It's either or. There's a vote also going on right now to decide that. I think the vote ends in a few days. So that's that to work towards, or look towards. But that'll be it for me for this week. I hope to see you all soon. And if you're on Twitch, consider sticking around. As I said before, I like grading. So it's really nice when people rate me and then I grade people. It's fun to find new people to follow and join along with. So if you're on Twitch, consider sticking around, because I also multi-stream on YouTube. What I'll do is I'll go to the end screen for YouTube so I can end the stream on YouTube, and then I'll come back on Twitch, and then we'll see if we can raid someone. That'll be it. And you can pronounce it as 5FM. Is that better? 5FM? I think, possibly. And thank you for the stream. Thank you for joining along. And hi, Louie. He came at quite a terrible time. So, okay, good, lovely. I'll try my best to remember. So saying all that, again, stick around on Twitch if you're on Twitch for the raid, but on YouTube, that'll be the end for me. I hope you have a lovely week, a good morning, evening, good night, afternoon, and I'll see you all later, all right? I hope you enjoyed today's stream, as I'm excited. I'm very, very excited.